Oh, hello.
Hello.
All rise and like, subscribe, and bang the gavel, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a case. It is time to get the week going on. I'm excited. I was watching some Judge Middleton earlier while working on the eBay. And yeah. Hey, if you're new here, we're bouncing around to different live Zoom courts that are going on around the country. What's the matter? You okay?
As soon as we go live, I get some BS from D Live. I had to take care of real quick.
Oh, D Live. That's very important. Should we restart?
Absolutely. We should just cut it all off and go again.
Good to see everybody. Yes, all rise. Order in the courts. Let's do it again. We'll be bouncing around here and there. Mikey will try not to talk over.
I'll do my best. I'll try to remember I can stop the proceedings if I need to by pushing a button.
But certain people, if it's off by 10 or 15 seconds, they get mad.
Spoilers. They don't want to read them online already.
We can't please everybody, I guess. But anyways, we do try to keep it a little bit quiet during the important times. Anyways, hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm ready for court.
Paying anything for rent or anything for food or anything for utilities. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So the only thing that you need to really worry about are your personal needs, including specifically these classes that you need to complete in order to complete your probation, correct?
Yes.
And have you looked for a job?
Yeah, I'm looking.
You're looking. There are lots of jobs out there, even if it's just fast food jobs at Taco Bell or whatever, there are jobs. And that should give you the monies to at least complete your classes so you can get your high school diploma. Do you understand the benefit of having your high school diploma? Mr. Bird, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're waiting.
Do you understand the benefit of getting your high school diploma?
Yeah.
What that is?
What do you think the benefits are?
Oh, hell.
I want to say it'll make life easier. I can get a job, stuff like that. It'll just make the situation I'm in pass by smoother.
Well, you can get a better job. You can get a job right now, even without a high school diploma. Lots of kids in high school do. But you can get a better job once you get your high school diploma. And you also have the ability then to take some classes at ACC, maybe head towards something that you're interested in so that you can get a better paying job in the future, a much better paying job in the future. But you have to dedicate yourself to improving yourself, to getting a job, paying for these classes, getting the high school diploma, and then deciding what you want to do with your life. You can't live with your mom forever. What's going to happen when she's no longer there?
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, she's your support system. Do you have anyone else in your life that's a support system?
Not like my mom.
No one's ever like your mom, or anyone's mom. But you have to think about her. I mean, she's providing for herself and for you, and she could probably use your help. Are you helping your mom?
No, not at the moment.
Don't you think you should?
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're not working, are you helping out around the house?
Like, what do you mean?
What's that guy doing?
Laundry, dishes, trash.
I was asking you. There's three people now.
Mopping, dusting, doing housework, helping your mom, run errands, bring in the groceries.
He just asked what kind of help she meant.
You're living there free of charge. She's providing for you. You're 21 years old, so you're above the age of majority. Are you helping her?
Yeah.
Took the trash out.
You're not convincing in your responses. What are we going to do with regard to your probation? Because, you have a lot of failed to do things. It looks like most of it is related to work and paying of fees and stuff. I'm mostly concerned about you getting your high school diploma. But you can't do that without paying some monies, and that means that you need to go out and get a job.
Yeah.
Judge, we've also provided him
Nailed
with
it.
other resources for obtaining a GED that would not cost him money. It looks, and I did find that Excel program online, so I see what I think he's talking about as far as being paid for, self-paced.
Kind of want to
But
hear
so,
from the mom.
Yeah,
Like,
if he's not
you know what I
willing
mean?
or
Yeah, but she's,
able to
she's 21
get
years
to
old,
obtain
so that's going.
employment, we
Mom
have
probably isn't
ways for him
coming.
to get the GED for free.
I just, when you got to
It
ask the
sounds
judge,
to me
what do
like
you
he
mean
wants
by
to get his
helping my mom
diploma
around the
instead of his
house?
GED, but I mean, that's a choice he has to make. And in order to do that, you have to be employed.
12-year-olds know what
You
that
haven't been
means.
employed for
It's good,
years now. Is that right? What do you do with your time, Mr. Bird?
That's not right. I've been employed. I just lost my job.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
it says here that you've been employed. When was the last time you were employed?
It wasn't years. I can't really remember exactly, but it was like a couple months ago. I just had a job.
You had a job a couple of months ago?
Doing what?
Yes.
Where were you working?
At a temp agency.
Nice,
Well,
sir.
if you were working there, why didn't you pay off your fees and costs for your diploma program then?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Mr. Bird, do you want to go to prison? I mean, you can't just do nothing on probation and expect to get through it. Let's see, this is a theft from a person. It's a state jail felony. So you're looking at 6 months to 2 years, day for day in a state jail facility and a fine of up to $10,000. Is that what you want to do? You want to go to state jail?
No.
Not really.
Not really.
Well, what do you want to do? Because you seem to have no energy to do anything. I'm not sensing any type of goal direction from you.
I want to get through probation for sure. I just have to get some money to pay off what I owe. I talked to my PO already, and I came up with a plan, a payment plan for her. And I mean, that's where I started.
What's the payment plan?
I think it's like $20 a month. $20 when I can. Just try to make $20.
Because we would encourage him to put any money towards his classes versus
when you're
our
on your
fees at
mom's
this
salary,
point.
it's
$20 a month.
I'm a little bit scratching my head here. Michael, do you have anything to add? Because I'm not seeing anything. I mean, the probation is saying he's making no progress on probation, and I can see where they're saying that because I'm not getting anything from him as I sit here. I mean, Mr. Bird doesn't seem to have any plan for his future.
No.
He doesn't seem to have any motivation for his future. I mean, I thought the whole point of having him get his high school diploma or GED was so that he could then have some direction in his life of what he wanted to do other than sit home and play video games or hang out with his friends. I mean, he's 21 years old. You can't do that anymore. You have responsibilities. You're an adult. You know, I get that your mom is providing for you, and good for her that she's capable of doing it, but she's not going to do it for the rest of your life. She's going to pass away at some point, and you're going to be on your own. And what are you going to do then? You know? Yes.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to get a job. I want you to get a job before this week ends. I want you to walk into a Taco Bell or, you know, whatever, Burger King or Walmart or wherever, and I want you to apply for a job and get a job. But if you have low energy and you answer like that, nobody's going to hire you because they don't think that you're going to work. You have to put some enthusiasm behind yourself. You have to show that you're motivated to actually do stuff. I mean, I don't know how you spend your time. And at this point, I feel sorry for your mom because she is doing the best she can, I'm assuming, but she's not helping you by just taking care of you. You're an adult. Time to start acting like an adult. Okay. That means helping your mom at home, getting a job, paying off your fees, helping your mom with expenses when you can. Stop hanging out with your friends, stop playing video games, and start taking your life seriously, because otherwise, I don't know how your life is going to end up. I don't want to send you to state jail, but geez, if you're not going to do anything, then I'm not going to have a choice, Mr. Bird. What should I do? What should I do?
I don't know.
I hate to say it, but he could be locked up.
All right. Well, I'm going to reset this to next Monday. By next Monday, I want Mr. Bird to have a job. or to have at least applied to 10 places for a job and to provide proof that he has applied to 10 places for a job. Okay, and we'll come back here next Monday and we'll find out the
J.O.B..
results.
Wow.
He ain't gonna do that.
All right.
Nina?
He won't even
will
remember that
see you
by the time he
next week,
leaves. I think
Judge.
he's high right
All right,
now.
very good. All right, we're going to recall
Well, that was
Edward
fun.
Torres.
Nice start for the day.
Very, very enthusiastic young man, ready to
Yes.
take on the world.
Got a bright future ahead, he does.
Right, we're going to recall D1DC 20-207-260, D1DC 22-300305, the state of Texas versus Edward Torres. Mr. Torres, you tested negative. That's a good start.
This is the courtroom where they have
So
people
at this
pissed
point in
right then.
time, I'm
Yeah,
going to go
love
ahead
it.
and leave you on bond. But everybody's watching, Mr. Torres. So for your own personal benefit, you need to figure out a way to get your temper in check and to stop using
temper.
violence and your fists as a means of resolving your differences with other people, particularly with women.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Otherwise, you're going to end up back in jail and you're going to end up in prison. I know that the state is looking heavily at that because of the circumstances surrounding the new case.
hello, Joe.
And
Joe.
you know, it's going to be whatever it's going to be, but you need to keep yourself clean and sober, and you need to keep your hands off of other people. Do you understand that?
I do.
All right, Frank.
Your Honor, the only thing that I'd like to make sure is known is that in regard to going to and from work, he takes buses. And he just got a
3-hour
second
walk,
job
3
that
hours to work.
calls upon him to change buses in the zone where he's not supposed to be. And I've told him, as long as you go and you're not there, but 10 or 15 minutes,
Nate, is that a hallelujah? I can't tell.
or you don't
Nate the
find a
Great.
way around it. I told
Give
him
you
try
one
to find a way
anyways.
around it. Did you find a way around it?
Yes, I did. I walk about 16 minutes to the next stop. That's out of the way.
All right. Well, I want you to stay out of the exclusion
He's
zone.
got a zone he can't
because
even be
I
in.
counted what 26 violations of the exclusion zone. Now that may be innocent, it may be you driving through, it may be you on a bus changing buses, it may be any number of things, but on paper I have 26 times that you violated the exclusion zone.
Ooh.
And that doesn't look good to me, especially when you pick up a new assault, family violence, strangulation case within 30 days of being released on probation. So
Like you got it
looks
straight from the
bad,
factory.
even
Del,
if
when I
in
was there
reality it's
visiting
not.
last year.
It looks bad. So try to make sure that you stay out of the exclusion zone. All right.
And one thing, I went to the hospital Friday night.
Mhm.
So I did get
Yeah.
a violation because I was at home and a motorcycle like fell and hit me in the face and my eyebrow was bleeding pretty bad. So I went to the hospital. I don't know if that's going to show up on the violations.
That happens.
Well, I don't
Happens
have it.
all
The
the
last
time.
one I
That
have
old
is February
chestnut.
28th. So I don't have anything.
Oh, right
from,
off the damn chat.
March yet.
Right off the shelf, right on my
Your
face.
pretrial is going to be sending me something because they normally do.
I know I have domestic
Yes.
violence
I think I just want to confirm. Are you
this is a
looking at
motorcycle.
Mr. Torres's GPS violations, or are you maybe looking at Mr.
You know
Haynes?
what? No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Mr. Haynes.
Yeah, Mr. Torres was just released on bond February 27th, and I'm not even sure. Well, it sounds like
Motorcycle
GPS is
ran
a
right into the
condition, but I
door.
don't think there's been any
Crazy.
issues
Nothing more.
reported from pretrial yet.
So hopefully there won't be.
Right.
No, you're absolutely right.
Wow, he scolded him for nothing.
So,
least
Mr.
the
Torres,
test
you
is
just
clean,
have to
though.
provide proof of the hospital stay that has like the time that you went.
Yeah, I brought my wristband with me today.
Okay,
How
just
do you
submit
not
that to
add,
your pretrial officer so they
like,
can
more info
correlate
on
that
there?
with the violation that they'll get.
Okay,
Especially
and
somebody
then
who's
is that in this office?
known
or this
fighter.
building? Or do I just send like an email or something like that?
You just contact them the way that you have, probably by email or phone.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. So Mr. Torres, we'll reset your case for 1 month out on the negotiations docket. What is that again?
May 6th,
May
5/6.
6th. May 6th. Doesn't mean you have to be back here. It means that your attorney is going to check on your progress and give us an update on your progress, as well as negotiations on the new case. but it would behoove you to help your attorney by staying on the straight and narrow, and that means no violations, no issues while you're on bond, so that you can prove to the state that you're capable of being on probation, because so far you've got a terrible track record. You want to improve that track record by staying out of trouble. Okay.
Getting your ass beat by motorcycles.
All right. Anything further with regard to Mr. Torres?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Very good. So it looks like next we have Aguilar-Piquinto.
Actually, we did both Haynes, Judge.
Maybe
Oh,
Bob,
all
I
right.
can't tell, but there's a hallelujah
Haynes.
regardless.
Right. Yes,
So
and
this
you're
is
right.
the
I
one.
had the two of them together. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that has pages of the GPS violation.
26 pages.
Mer-
26.
Motorcycle attacked me on
Oh.
mind my own business.
right.
So this is the guy coming that
Yeah,
has
I
the 26
forwarded,
violations.
He sent the little video montage he made over. I forwarded it to y'all. I haven't been able to download it yet,
A montage.
but it seemed to be a pretty
Video
large
montage.
file, an MP4, and so I forwarded that to y'all.
Let's go
Where
with
is he?
montage.
He should be in here. He was walking out to pay the meter a second ago.
Cass, can you bring up Mr. Haynes, Dennis Haynes?
He's coming, he was in the restroom.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I was
All
thinking
right.
too.
The court recalls D1 19 5000385, the state of Texas versus Dennis Haynes. All right, so we're
That's why he's
gonna
breathing all hard.
start
He had
back
to
on the
run.
conversation that we were having previously. So I have 26 exclusion zone violations through February 28th of 2022. Probation is saying that he just needs to be incarcerated, Ben.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Right,
Judge,
and
you had
You might
asked
wanna
about
run
the
the other
social
way.
media contact with the victim.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I'd found about that is his girlfriend at the time of this allegation had added the victim as a friend on social media, and they were messaging. So I think the court
Idiot.
considered that as third party contacting via third party, and that's where the violation of protective order came.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what the messages contained, but that's what the allegation's coming from.
Well, and there was no charge, I believe, Crystal, for that violation. The only charge he had was October of 2020, and he's, hasn't gotten charged with any protective order violations since then. And so I think,
Okay,
No.
so that was just a note that
Just,
a
yeah,
violation
note
of
on y'all's.
probation, maybe.
So the
Judge,
department, let's see, the department stands by its original recommendation that the order deferring adjudication be set aside, a judgment of guilt be entered, and the defendant be incarcerated. This is a second violation report being
Oh, he's
submitted to
going
the
to
court
jail.
alleging another violation of a protective order within a period of 10 months, and a second time he entered an exclusion zone and claims it was unintentional. It's the fourth amended motion submitted alleging now 4 subsequent offenses. Additionally, the defendant cut off his GPS monitor in an extended effort to evade law enforcement and has curfew violations since obtaining the device again. Since being released on a motion to adjudicate, he has allegedly assaulted the mother of one of his children and has a warrant for his arrest. The warrant was cleared on December 9th of 2021. Since then, he committed another assault, and a warrant has been issued for his arrest on that charge. The defendant continues to exhibit assaultive behavior, refuses to comply with the court's order for the GPS monitor, and he's no longer attending BIP, which poses a serious risk to the community, and therefore he should be incarcerated. He works as a delivery driver for Favor. If he's working past his curfew, he would forward his work schedule to his officer, and that would clear the violation. He has not submitted any proof of employment since February 8th of 2022. Ben?
He's been
Judge,
busy.
and I think, we had been here and we had, recalled warrants, reduced bonds on the assault from last summer against the child's mother. And so, the reason he's back in the pressure cooker today was that he got in a wreck with someone and then picked up a misdemeanor assault, which he still has a warrant on. And so he's been doing things a little unconventionally. He's had active warrants on all of these cases, but still reporting to his PO. He still showed up this morning, and I think that shows someone who has a desire to change. And I think you and I can both agree our probation department's little computer system that says we recommend revocation, that hasn't caught up to the benevolence and the progressiveness of our district courts, of our district attorney's office. The probation recommends to revoke most people, and then we come into court and we actually talk about the human side of things, and then we're like, wow, is prison going to absolutely do anything to benefit Dennis Haynes? No, it won't. I think if the court says, hey, you have had some issues and you need a little time out in jail to think about, we would be open to a short ACOP time. But I just don't think, I think Dennis showing up here today, he's trying. I see him good. I see someone who wants to change. I think programs on probation are created to help people change. And, you don't see anyone doing BIP classes where they've got an active warrant. And so, if we can clear these warrants, we could take him into custody today, and he can sit for 30 days and he'll post bond on the misdemeanor. We'll let him back out on the GPS. Maybe we say, hey, you do us 6 months on the GPS and we'll take it off. I mean, he's been on this GPS. It was supposed to only be on for a year, and it's going on almost 2 years now. And we haven't pushed back on that because we looked at the GPS as something to show the court, hey, this guy is on a super restrictive probation, harder than anyone else in your court, and he's still trying, and I think that's why he did all this work, putting together this video montage of all these people saying good things about him, because you realize the totality of everything
It's a video montage
of
people saying good things about him.
But we do things a little bit differently in this county. I don't think there's any victims here today that are saying, we're totally scared of Dennis, and if he walks out, I can't sleep at night. And so we're just begging for the court to exercise your discretion and agree that, counseling and classes in the community are going to help Mr. Haynes more than prison ever will. And we beg you, if jail therapy is needed, we can do jail therapy and not make him a felon for the rest of his life. And so, we would just beg you to give him one last chance.
He's
Come to tears.
May I speak, Your Honor?
Sure.
I promised Ben I wasn't going to incriminate myself, but I'd rather be honest since I am working on myself. So with the car accident incident, I don't want to speak too much on it because it's a pending case. But I had got that car right after you allowed me to bond out. I had started progressing. I was trying to get my stuff together. Excuse my language, I apologize. I was trying to get my stuff together, and I had just gotten that car. And as soon as I got that car, I pulled into my apartment the day after I got that car, and somebody wrecked into it. And I let that fly. I called the Travis County Sheriff. I'm like, hey, somebody just wrecked into my car. He has information that doesn't match. His plates are from a different state. His ID is a different state, and his phone number was a different state. And they were like, oh, we can't send anybody out. Y'all have to figure that out. So we figured it out. Then the next week, I went and got a whole nother car, a brand new car again. And then this time, this guy's, well, I happened to be following my sister to my mom's house. That's where the accident happened. I was actually parked. I wasn't even the driver. And he ran into the car. It had me and my baby mom and my daughter in the car. And then my sister got out, started arguing with him. And I was respectfully asking him because I knew that there was nothing I could do. I can't fight you over my car. I can't force you to give me money, whatever. So I'm like, hey man, you mind giving me your information so I can go ahead and get going. And he just kept arguing with the females so at that point, to be honest with you, I don't know if I edited in the video, but I'd like to say that I have a problem with not communicating. I shut down rather than trying to let somebody know, hey, it's getting to this point. And so I had already kind of shut down whenever he wasn't giving me the information. And I've already called last week, the sheriffs. I just called them last week, and you weren't able to assist me. So at that point, I feel like I'm sorry.
It's a non-injury accident. The police are not responding to non-injury accidents anymore. If you want to tell them that there's a potential, fight going on, they'll be more likely to respond before you actually commit an assault. It would be better to, try to get someone out there, but that's the reason they don't respond. They're not responding to non-emergency situations. And it was a non-emergency situation as it started out, but then it turned into an emergency situation when the violence started. You should have explained to the officers that you needed someone there to prevent an assault from occurring so that they would at least come down and you could explain the situation.
Yes, I understand that. And another thing, and this doesn't justify what I've done, but he kind of got to arguing with the females on the scene rather than arguing with me or trying to discuss the situation with me. And not only that, it was kind of I hate to say it, but like I said, I'm trying to work on myself. So I'd rather be honest with you. It was kind of a pride thing because I'm there with somebody that I have a family violence against. And you're seeing that, oh, you just gonna let this person disrespect me. He calling them all kind of bitches and hoes in the middle of the road. And you know what
Go
I mean?
on.
It became a thing of, oh, so you'll hit on me, but you won't, you know what I'm saying? So it was just a heat of a moment situation. And
Mr. Haynes, you
I'm
can't
the
control other
heat of
people's
the
behaviors. You
moment.
can only control your own. Just because somebody else is acting out and doing horrible
Clark
things,
David,
you don't
if
have
he
any
gets his head
control
just
over
right,
them, and
it
you
looks like
can't
he's got
gain
a
control over them through
kid
violence.
and play
That's not going to
haircut.
help. That's not going to help the situation, and it's not going to help you in the long run. So you're in control of yourself. You're not necessarily in control of them.
There it
You
is.
know, it could have been a situation where it was, you know,
Oh, I
there was
see.
a
Yeah,
lot of
straight
bad
like
acting going on the other guy's part, but that doesn't justify you becoming violent. I mean, I'm sorry, you're telling me the situation,
not to like
and I
start
can understand the situation
stuff, but
spiraling
is
out
that
of
part of the
control,
defund the
but
police
that's not a
movement?
justification under the law.
Maybe.
Yes, ma'am, and I totally understand that, and that's why I am trying to. Right now, I'm doing personal therapy and also family therapy because not only do I have problems with myself, but also outside of relationships. I don't know. I don't want to ramble on, and I don't want to sit up here and, you know what I'm saying, give this sob story, because I'm sure everybody comes in court and everybody has a family to go home to. Everybody has, you know what I'm saying, obligations and whatnot. But I am trying, Your Honor, and I really appreciate it if my progress doesn't get reset, because I spent $1,300 on the camera. I'm trying to start a photography business or something to where I'm able to freelance, to where I'm not stuck in these situations to where I'm like, say in a work environment or whatever it is. I can't avoid the real world situations, but I do want to adjust my environment to where I'm able to function in the real world. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
And I'll cut you off and Judge, you know, this is what I always say about Dennis is that
Finally.
he does really care, and he always shows up, and he's always been very honest with me when I call him. He's not lying. I didn't do it, Mr. Bergen. No, he's like, I did it. I screwed up. My anger got the better of me again. And so I think, you know, where someone shows they're willing to show up and confront warrants, so that's someone that in this county, I think we can work with. And so we're hopeful. You know, again, you know, he's got this misdemeanor warrant. He's got money in his pocket right now to go to quick out bail bonds and pay them, do a walkthrough. We would ask the court to reset him 2 weeks, give us time to get him back into BIP, clear this warrant, and then come back in person. And if he's, you know, got a BIP orientation set and has cleared this warrant, I hope that would allow the court to give us a little longer reset and monitor his BIP progress.
Also, I'm sorry. With the BIP thing, so with BIP, I really appreciate that. And, if it was free, I would definitely keep going regardless. But honestly, I had this thing going on with my body, and I missed too many. And I couldn't really, like I said, I have a problem with shutting down, and I couldn't really explain that in a group setting that I have herpes, and my body is like, my whole body breaks out in scabs. And so that week I was itching and whatnot. And you have so many unexcused absences before you get kicked out of BIP. So I went ahead and did the private therapist, because it was through my health insurance. And also another thing I wanted to bring up maybe is medication management at Austin Oaks. But I couldn't do that with the monitor because I obviously can't stay there for 7 days.
If we were over to Judge Simpson's,
my insurance.
Actually, if you were to go to Austin Oaks to stay for 7 days, all you would have to do is tell your attorney, and your attorney would tell me, and we would authorize it for 7 days. So there is a way to do what you need to do, but you just have to get authorization in advance of that. So that's not problematic. The other stuff is problematic. So who are you taking your private counseling with?
His name is Adam. I can't remember his last name, but it's through Hopeful, Texas.
All right. So you're taking individual therapy, and,
yes, and as well as family therapy, but that's she has that information. I don't know about that.
Okay, well, the family therapy as well, but the individual therapy, is anger management a component of your individual therapy?
Honestly, no, ma'am, it's not. Mainly, what we've been working on is expressing myself. I have a problem, like I keep saying that, but the shutting down thing is the biggest thing, because when I shut down, when I turn back on, it's it's already at the point where this person is upset that I've shut down. So they started yanking at my earbuds or whatever I'm using to ignore them. They're upset that I'm not, you know what I'm saying, contributing to whatever. And yeah, so we've gradually been doing that. But I do want to find something for anger management. I just don't really like the group settings because I feel like it's not based on me. It's based off of how other people are, you know what I mean? And it's good to hear. Like I liked Bill because it was good to hear other people in my situation. But in reality, I need the one-on-one.
I see why his attorney
because
told him not to talk.
It would be more focused on what's actually going on.
Mr. Haynes, have you ever suffered a head injury?
No, ma'am.
Because what you're describing, the shutting down, can sometimes be a symptom of traumatic brain injury. I'm not saying that that's what it is. I'm just saying that that is very symptomatic of someone who suffers from traumatic brain injury, is that they can't communicate their words. It becomes very frustrating and can lead to violence. That sounds like it's something that you need to work on, but your individual therapist, in addition
a brain
to
injury is
you
not
being
funny,
able to
by the
better
way,
communicate
but
and
her
deal with your
asking him that
frustration,
is
can also deal
It
with
come out of
anger
nowhere.
management as a component of that, because that is a component of the frustration that you feel when you can't communicate. Because it sounds to me like that's what rises, that's what sort of spirals out of control into violence.
Right.
So I'm going to leave you out. I'm going to let you continue doing the work that you're doing.
Wow.
But I'm going to monitor you, and you need to make progress. You need to work on
damn,
this.
there he goes.
Okay, because number one, there's no contact whatsoever with any of the complaining witnesses, period. You understand that? No contact. If you get another violation of a protective order or any type of communication, I'm going to put you in jail.
Can I
You're
move?
be sitting in jail for a while.
And Judge, I have a couple things before we get back into the defendant speaking.
Yes.
Okay, so we have an outstanding issue. The victim safety first requested last month to terminate services due to non-payment. As of 2 weeks ago, he owes almost $3,000. Defendant noted he just spent $1,300 on a camera. We have notes that he drives her favor and stuff, and he said he got 2 cars. I don't believe he has a license. Our concern with the defendant is he continues to make his own rules.
He's a delivery driver with no license.
Makes his own way to get things done. So he had these warrants for months now, right? And they're saying, oh, he confronted them. He came in. No, he had them for months. He did not turn himself in. He instead stayed out. He went to Oklahoma so he could go see his child be born. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. He didn't confront them. And now finally he's coming in, but that's after he's done the things he wanted to do. He still goes out when he wants. He doesn't care about curfew. He says the court doesn't care about curfew as long as he doesn't enter the exclusion zones.
And that's not correct, by the way, Mr. Haynes.
I don't think he said that. I don't think that was the word.
I didn't say
Let her finish first. Let her finish. Go ahead,
This
Kristen.
bitch is lying, Yana.
This has been, he's 24 years old, has 10 prior assault charges against him.
They're going to take kids.
Ranging from family members to strangers. A prior probation for assault was revoked due to threatening and harassing contact with the victim. The victim of this probation had a very strong opinion about him being probated on this. His own comments during the PSI were extremely alarming on how he views victims and females in general. We just really believe that he's just making up his own rules to do what he wants. He gets a car, he's upset he lost it. He doesn't even have a license to drive it. He doesn't care.
Mr. Haynes, you don't have a driver's license?
That's correct, and I was a passenger in that vehicle.
Yeah, but it says that you drive for favor as a job. How do you do that when you don't have a driver's license?
Well, I don't drive at all, to be honest with you, because I have warrants and I'm too scared to get pulled over. So
well, why did you tell probation you were working for favor? You were a driver.
No, I do deliver for favor. I can turn the app on right now, but I have somebody drive me around. My girlfriend will drive around and I'll be the hop out person. And she can advocate for that. Matter of fact, I have it on camera as well. I do a lot of videography. So if I need to prove it, I can.
Obviously, what do you have to say about buying an expensive camera while you still owe so much money for the GPS?
To be honest with you, the reason I bought the camera was because I was so behind the debt, and that's a lot of that's what brings a lot of my stress, to be honest with you. And is mainly my money goes towards fixing problems.
Hi, do you have a delivery?
Invest my money towards gradually or progressing. My bad. I'm sorry. So honestly, I just kind of like put honestly, I've been paying the bond company and I've been paying my lawyer and I've been paying like BIP and whatnot. I kind of put it on the back burner, and that's
$20 a
being
month.
honest. I can pay it
probation
today.
is very frustrated with you because you've been very difficult to supervise, and actually I can feel their frustration. So here's the deal, Mr. Haynes, is if you don't comply with the terms of your probation, and that means curfew, and that means stay away, and that means GPS, and that means paying for the GPS. I'm going to put you in jail. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you think that you're playing by your own rules and I don't care about those rules, you are wrong, because I do care about those
I'm a
rules.
videographer.
Now, I'll allow some leeway here and there when there are reasons for it, but right now I don't see any reasons for it other than you just doing what you want to do. If you are caught driving without a license, you know what? Your attorney can probably bond you out on that, but you're going to get revoked on my charge, because I'm not going to have you out there driving without the driver's
By the way,
license.
when they asked where he was earlier,
Yes, ma'am.
his lawyer said he's going to put money in the meter.
Ma'am. And also, I don't know if they noted it or not, but I did make a payment last week to BSF. I made $100 payment. That was actually my last little $100. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but you owe $3,000.
They just said he had money.
I totally understand it, and they set up a payment plan with me to where I pay $100 a week.
Okay, and Mr. Gergen, you said he has cash in his pocket that he can go clear that other warrant. How much cash is in his pocket so he can maybe pay that?
Spend his last $100. She caught that.
Dennis,
I have no cash in my pocket.
So that wasn't accurate.
I thought you said you had money to pay the bail bonds.
No, I do. I have $400, but you said cash in my pocket.
What is it?
Judge, this is what I mean.
This is somebody else. It's somebody else's funds. They're assisting me with the money because I didn't have the money whenever I first came in.
Yeah, he's got his father and his baby mother.
My dad is standing outside.
Shut up. So physically, he doesn't have money in his pocket on him in the courtroom.
Look at court reporter. Look at court reporter.
That monies need to be paid towards the GPS monitor, because the GPS monitor isn't going anywhere, and because of your track record, it's not going anywhere. Now, if you can prove, a track record of having no violations, maybe I'll consider it. But so far, there's no track record. I haven't allowed the state to contribute, and Jasmine looks like she really wants to contribute. Do you have anything to add, Jasmine?
I mean, I just voice Crystal's frustrations. I feel for everybody in their situations, but I just hear a ton of excuses and excuses made by Mr. Haynes. I know it's at your discretion, Judge, but I just feel like he's been given multiple opportunities with no repercussions. And how is he ever going to learn? He said that he liked BIP, but when I looked at the report, he was discharged for failed to participate. It was just a number of things. So I'm in the same boat as probation.
But that's what they clarify when you get kicked out for absences. It's a failure to participate. No one there participates, Jasmine. It's a bunch of guys who are felons.
No, then that's not correct. That's not accurate. That is not accurate. There is a distinction between failure to participate and unexcused absences.
And I'm sorry,
they make that distinction on the reports.
Yes, it says absences, balances, and non-compliance. And then he also informed his counselor that he's on the run with the child and cannot meet program requirements. It just seems excuse after excuse, and I don't know.
No, I hear you.
It's just I just voice Crystal's frustrations.
Well, that's why we're here today, to let him hear, that this whole time we've been doing email dockets for the last 2 years. He hasn't felt the weight of a district court. I mean, that's why we had him show up today, because we've been having a lot of stuff going on, a lot of issues. And that's why I said he did show up today. He did not cut the monitor off, Crystal. The law enforcement could have gone out and fined him any point over the last 4 months. And so that's not running when you have a GPS on your leg. And so I disagree with you on that.
What court is that?
It backtracked really quick.
I'm assuming that.
It's in the county courts. I just read the offense report. I seen where it was alleged that the alleged victim, he was the one who reported the crash. His vehicle was, I don't know. It's just, it's very problematic what he's telling us and what we're reading. I'm not saying that he's not telling the truth, but I'm just basically going off what law enforcement is saying. And
no,
then
he said he
picking up.
punched the guy. He said he punched the guy. He said the guy was disrespecting the women he had with him, and so he punched the guy. And he said he felt very sorry he did that, but he didn't see any other way with the skills he has and the mindset he has right now to watch someone be disrespected and not stick up for them. And that's what we talked about.
She's saying that it was the other guy that called law enforcement, not him.
Correct.
He's telling us that he called law enforcement and they didn't come. But according to this report, it was the other guy that called law enforcement.
No, ma'am. I believe y'all misunderstood that. I said that I called a week prior. So whenever this arose, it was. I feel like it wasn't an option to call. I called a week prior. I had gotten a car accident like literally the week prior.
Who hasn't been in a car accident and beat somebody's ass?
So okay, so
it didn't match,
I think there was one option, which was to take Mr. Haynes into custody, have him serve 30 days, and come back in 30 days and revisit the issue.
They about to put him in
Judge, I
jail
just want
now.
to note that at his first MTR that was filed with the court, he was continued with ACOP. So the court has tried that sanction before, and here we are on another motion to revoke with 5 amended motion to revoke after that.
Okay, well, hope springs eternal. I understand what you're saying, but
He's gonna,
we're
we're
running out
turning
of
this
options. with
ship
regard
around
to
and going
Mr.
back to
Haynes.
jail.
I think so.
Mr. Haynes, your attorney is
you,
arguing passionately for you, but at some point he's going to run out of arguments. And he
Yes.
can believe in you, he can have
Yeah,
faith
Mayor.
in you, but if you don't
Take care.
turn it around and do better, then it doesn't matter what he says. It's not going to help. I mean,
Yes, ma'am,
they
and
are
I-
frustrated, probation is frustrated, the court is frustrated. I can't tell you how frustrated I am by your behavior, and that, I want you to improve. I want you to make improvements. I think that individual counseling is the right way to do that, but the progress isn't being made fast enough. And
Uh-oh. There it comes.
we're going to go ahead, Cass, we're going to take Mr. Haynes into custody today.
Good. I'm sorry. Good.
Am I able to hug my kids if you don't mind, Your Honor?
As long as you don't leave, because otherwise they're gonna jump on you. So
They're gonna jump on you.
You said
are they here?
yes, ma'am. They're right outside the window.
Well, you can tell them to come in then, because you're not gonna be allowed to come out.
Let's
Okay,
get
that's
that on
fine.
camera,
Yes,
can we?
ma'am.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
Dave,
taken into custody. We'll reset this 30 days out on a Zoom docket. What's 30 days out on a Zoom docket?
30 days.
Judge, it's best if we do.
May 2nd.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Cass. What?
I said he's had 3 little ones, and it's best if we do not do the hooks because they're gonna be more traumatized.
Okay, well, just let
I
them
mean,
come
they have to
in,
go back
hug him,
over.
and then don't put him in the cuffs until after they've left the courtroom.
No
Let
problem.
them, let them into the courtroom, give them a hug, leave the courtroom, put them in cuffs.
Yes,
Mr. Haynes, you're being taken into custody. We're resetting your case to May 2nd. We'll come back on May 2nd
Right.
and revisit the issue. But like the state, probation has said, we've
Crystal
gone through
feels
this
really
before,
good
where
for
we tried some jail
herself.
therapy and it didn't do any good. So if this
Good
30
job.
days
I mean,
doesn't do any good, then you're gonna be looking at TDC time.
Okay, Your Honor, I have a question.
Mhm.
So,
Don't cry,
Yes.
baby.
I'm sorry.
You did.
With the 30 days, whenever I speak back with you, how would it go about? I'm just asking because usually whenever
Hey, Dennis, they got another attorney out there. Just call me on the jail phone at
Okay,
614 and we'll talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not guaranteeing I'm gonna let you out in 30 days. I said we're gonna.
I totally understand that. What I was asking was trying to set up a plan.
Just
because
10
usually whenever I
minutes
leave
ago,
jail,
she was
it's-
letting them go
it's
home.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm ready to leave
Thanks,
jail. So
Crystal.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? So I do want to be able to
Dennis,
be
call
back
me.
in the
Just
setting.
call me. Call me. Okay.
I don't know what you're saying, because I don't
This
know.
is a fight you
All right, I'm
couldn't
gonna call
win, bud.
All right, very good.
Crystal
Wow.
whooped his ass.
So the last case on the docket,
Two
Damn.
back-
Martin Aguilar-Piquinto.
We're staying for the
Maybe
third.
excuse Judge.
You may. Thank you,
Okay.
Ben.
You too,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thanks,
Have a good-
Ben. Good try, buddy, but wow, that was
Right.
sorry.
I'm sorry you guys have been
Right.
waiting here for a very long time. And Mr. Martin Aguilar-Piquinto, is he present?
Judges, we're gonna get a commitment sent
Yes, David's gonna send me the commitment and I'm gonna sign it. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign it. Judge, I'm gonna do it through DocuSign, and then it'll be automatically sent to them via DocuSign.
All right, very good.
Two good ones
So
in
as soon
my.
as I get it,
God,
I
look
will
at
sign
that
it and you guys will have
mustache.
it. So yes,
It's a winner.
absolutely. All right, so is Mr. Martin Aguilar-Piquinto present?
I hope so, because he's got.
What
a
about
great
Thomas
name.
Fagerberg? Where's the
Anybody?
defense?
Go in the hall and yell their name 3 times.
3 times, baby. 3 times.
Okay,
We
well,
call it Thomas Fagerberg, Judge.
this is a virtual bond hearing concerning the GPS removal. Have we removed the GPS or it's under consideration for the removal of GPS?
Judge, it's under consideration for
BRB.
removal.
All right.
Well,
And-
if you're not here, I'm not removing it. So I guess that's an easy fix. What happened to Fagerberg and his client?
Joseph, good to see you. This guy's not even showing up, man. The hell? Not even the attorney's there. What a great
I don't
case,
think
by the
we
way.
have
If you haven't,
anything on the afternoon docket, do we?
Yeah, look at-
I don't see anything.
did poor Ron Jeremy go to prison forever, by the way?
This is the last case on the docket. Chloe, thank you for joining us. I get to actually see what you look like as opposed to your emails.
Very nice to see you, Judge.
Well, I mean, I know the name. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. They're not here. It's their request. GPS has not been removed, right? So we're not in this situation.
Oh,
wait, it looks like someone is here.
Your Honor.
All right, here we go. All right.
Judge,
Yes,
I do have Thomas Fagerberg on the phone. He'd like to reset this case. He has nobody here to assist.
No, Your
I'm
Honor,
not
I'm here
here.
on behalf of Thomas Fagerberg.
Are you Morgan?
Yes, I am Morgan.
We have Morgan here.
She's been here all morning, Judge.
okay, very good. All right, well, thank you for being here. What is your name?
My name is Morgan Kenyon.
Are you new?
Sort of. I practiced in Corpus, but my husband and I moved up to Austin.
Well, congratulations and welcome
Thank
to
you.
Austin.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Morgan, say your last name again, please.
Kenyon, Kinyon.
Kenyon, Kinyon.
Yes.
All right. The court calls D1 DC 21 500234, D1 DC 21 500235,
Shanta,
the
I will
state of Texas
get it
versus
in the
Martin
as soon as I can,
Aguilar-Piquinto.
up there.
And you are the defendant, Martin Aguilar-Piquinto. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
All right. Do we need an interpreter?
No, I'm
No?
fine.
Okay.
No.
All right, very good. So we're here because
Agreed.
the defense is requesting removal of GPS and we have objections by the state
He's a
and
ghost.
the victim or the complaining witness, excuse me, about the removal of GPS. So defense, it's your motion. Do you want to start?
Yes, Your Honor. We filed a motion. Mr. Aguilar has had the GPS since
Go ahead.
beginning of November, and he has no reported violations and has been in compliance with the terms of his pretrial conditions. And every 2 weeks, he has to pay $154, which has become a hardship for him and his wife. And so we're requesting the removal of the GPS because he has been in compliance with all the terms and conditions of his pretrial.
And
All right, state.
yes, Judge, I would concede that Mr. Aguilar has been doing well while he's been out on bond. He has been compliant with his GPS. I've seen his report. However, I do have 2 very traumatized victims. They report that they still have dreams about him. They report that they are still not, they are asleep at night because of him, and they would be in fear.
Can't sleep at all.
For their lives if Mr. Aguilar's GPS was taken off.
What are the ages of the children?
They're adults. One is 18 and the other one is 22, I believe.
So Chloe, what can you add to the conversation?
Oh, and Judge,
Oh, yes.
one more thing. I would
Anybody else
ask
ready
that
for him
the
to say, like,
GPS be
12?
county funded.
Yeah,
If
even 22.
Well, that's obviously one. One
I think
fix
it's
for the
just about his
situation, but
GPS.
anyway, yeah,
Did he cut it
Haley?
off?
Yes, hi.
He
I
has,
would just
but he's
add,
asking for it to be
Amy,
taken
in
off.
agreement with the
They're
report
saying
that I
the
sent,
victims don't want
the
it off.
defendant's
They're
been
scared.
extremely compliant on the program. I've had no issues with him. He's reporting as directed, always calls promptly, and I have no indication of any violation of any of his conditions of bond.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
part
Well,
of that
these are very
cancel
serious
movement, I'll
charges,
say.
second-degree felonies, indecency with child by sexual contact. Notwithstanding the fact that the victims are now adults, which is better. But I'm going to go ahead and switch his GPS to county-funded GPS, but I'm not going to agree to remove it at this time, just because the nature of the offenses and the victim's concerns.
Angie, glad to see you.
I
hope
think
you're
it would
doing
be
good.
prudent to just keep it on. But if you keep up the good work, Mr.
Well, at least they're
Aguilar-Piquinto,
keeping it
that
on now. He
obviously
was paying what,
helps
$150
your
a
defense attorney
every 2
work
weeks. So he's
cases
selling
out
them.
with the
Yeah, he's
state, and
taking
it proves to
$300
the
They're gonna
state
pay
that
for
you
it,
can
I mean.
comply with conditions, which will help in terms of getting a better offer from the state. So I'm just going to encourage you to keep up the good work. We're going to switch it over to county funded so you don't have the financial concerns that you currently have. Morgan, you would need to contact pretrial and ask them to send me judges cards modifying the conditions of his probation to county funded.
That's epic.
Yes, Your Honor, I can do that this afternoon.
All right.
I can get those sent out.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're here.
I can skip the
You're
middleman.
here.
I'll send those out right away.
All right. That
By
sounds
the-
awesome. All right.
By the way,
so
I
we
just
will
dropped the
reset
link
this case
for this
to 1
courtroom.
month negotiations docket is at 5-6.
Yes,
New
Judge.
favorite courtroom, 50
5-6
minutes,
negotiations docket.
3 great cases,
And that
really.
concludes our
2
docket.
really
Is there
good.
anything else from anyone?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, I went ahead and sent that DocuSign on the court arrest.
Okay. I will
Judge
sign that.
Chantel, I like her.
Before you leave,
Yeah, I like her a lot. And this is Travis County, which they have several other courtrooms as well that I've just recently subscribed to. So we've
great.
adding like 50 more courtrooms to the arsenal. And this is her last case. So
Love that. Usually we jump around a lot, but certainly didn't have to with those first 2. That's for sure. I think we're doing, landlord-tenant matters. We'll just check in. Sometimes these can be good and sometimes they're kind of sleepy. So we'll see.
like Francis down there. She
Just
looks-
a fair warning. Judge Middleton, hard to hear sometimes. I've got it cranked up as much as I can. And Shanta, thank you.
Woo, baby.
Getting the Monday going.
Dropping money on us.
I have a default request, an affidavit, an entry for failure to disclose, but I don't have the order doesn't contain an amount in it.
How far behind on our rent are we?
It does not.
A couple dollars.
Credit acceptance, Phelan Ledford. It's entitled Default Request Affidavit and Entry Failure to Disclose.
I was watching a video
The
this morning with
default
him with
would
his
be
hair down. It's
for
so
the
different.
amount that was in the
I love it.
garnishment, Your Honor, which would be the 15,162.
Huh?
27.
Wow. That's a lot of free rent. I've seen her before, but I'm not sure what the credit acceptance thing is. They keep talking about running out of money with the other programs. I'm wondering if this is something different, or is this them going after her? That's probably her going after
15.
Tara.
She said 15,000?
Yeah, 15K.
Good Lord.
Did they not provide an actual default judgment, Your Honor?
Was she buying it?
I don't see one. I just did
Okay.
2 with Mr. Babcock, and I had one for each file.
I'm telling Lisa
I can have
Fletcher.
that sent over, Your Honor.
I know. I was just
I'm
thinking
going
the
to
same thing.
sign the default.
It's a gift from her lover.
And I'll sign it effective this date.
15K.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where would she stay?
Indicate
Taj Mahal?
judgment.
Hi, Pamela.
She lived there for 10 years and didn't pay no rent?
Thank you, Judge.
Not of 15.
Yeah, that makes sense now. They're going after her. Getting the judgment, it sounds too.
$9,000 debt. That's what happens when you don't pay anything for years and years.
Finance lesson from Judge Middleton.
Yes.
All right, you're good to go. You're probably wanted somewhere else too.
I am, but Judge, I have been covering the Orbit cases all day today, so I was just checking with them to see if I should
All right.
appear on that one.
Well, that would be very helpful if you did.
He's got an ongoing thing that I just want to mute that for just a second. So do you remember? Because I think that we have had pieces of this where the guy that went into the gas station that thinks that he owns the place and gets his coffee and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There is an update to that maybe at some point this week we'll get to. They're getting ready to do something because it's becoming a huge issue because, you know, he's obviously got some mental issues and the people that are supposed to be handling that does nothing for him. They call him or they call them to come and help or assess the situation, nothing. And that's what that update was the other day. But I think that we're going to see that at some point, maybe this week. But the guy's kind of, you know, mentally ill. He goes into this Exxon station or whatever every single day and just takes coffee and gets into fights with the people because, again, he thinks that he owns the place.
$15,000. Sorry, I'm stuck on that.
It's amazing you can let it get to that point. I mean, even with the pandemic, I mean,
nowadays they cut your stuff.
Mikey, for God's sake, please check your PP.
Okay, my PP.
Your PP.
For $8,000.
Sorry, I was over here working.
Please.
How dare I work?
Back in 2014, my handwriting was better.
Carol, Mikey, thanks you.
30 bones for the lovin'.
Hell yeah. Didn't even win. Did you go to bingo and not tell us, Carol?
She had a big win the other day, though.
In September of 2014, the defendant was back again in September of 2021. She objected to the garnishment. I indicated she should file a request for installment fees.
Oh, wow.
So a request for installment
garnishment.
payments was
Or a
entered,
Shell station.
and then the plaintiff says she never made any installment payments.
Shocker.
I entered an
That
order
happens.
last November, $100 every 2 weeks starting December 1st, 2021.
Never again.
And at that time was working at H&R Block.
Carol, seriously, thank you, though.
The plaintiff
Appreciate
has
it.
Thanks,
So,
Carol.
I saw that on the Facebook.
because the defendant never made it. The defendant wrote a letter dated March 7th.
That's my birthday.
I, Tara Ostrander, Van Anna, am writing this letter to explain why I filed my motion on garnishment. I then filed a motion and agreed to pay $100 every 2 weeks to Orbit Leasing. I assumed I would receive another garnishment in this amount.
$100 every 2 weeks.
Taken care of until I
Good deal.
received the ability to pay letter by Orbit Leasing. I then called up to the court to explain I have tried calling Orbit Leasing. They will not discuss this matter. I asked today that the $100 every 2 weeks stay in effect, and that I am given notice to them to start withdrawal. I asked they contact me at my phone number to set this up or give me guided direction on what I am to do at my end. So when I got that letter, I set the matter for a hearing. So essentially, she agreed to a $100 every 2 week installment payment.
I don't think so.
Apparently, there's some misunderstanding, so
I
that never
see
got
you.
established.
Am I shadow banned?
Any payment, but she's ready to make the payment as agreed and asked to continue that. Is that correct, Ms. Ostrander?
That is correct.
She probably could have paid for that car for as much as she pays
Based
in
on
rent
what
right now.
you've learned in this brief session, Ms. Francis, what's your thought here?
I mean, I'm not surprised. They're not going to come
Your
back with
Honor, if,
that little bit, right? Who
I did the
cares?
calculation correct, it seems like defendant would be around $1,400 behind on her installment payment plan.
She couldn't even keep up with that. Oh.
And it seems unfortunate. However, it took plaintiff filing a motion for defendant to realize that payments have not been made and that she should do something. And so, Judge, I don't believe that's reasonable or fair to the plaintiff that defendant has waited this long and now wants to start her payments when she should have done so back in September when she first saw that the payments were not coming out and that she did still owe them. So I would ask for our motion to be granted at this time and the installment payment order set aside.
Now, this isn't on you, but she says, I tried to call Orbit Leasing and they wouldn't talk to me. I have tried to call Orbit Leasing and they will not discuss this matter. I asked that it stay in effect. And so then she called the court, I think. Then she wrote this letter. Then I set it for a hearing. And
Judge, I don't know the situation with the phone calls, but I mean, if she was wanting to pay, all she had to do was send in a payment. She wouldn't have needed to speak to someone, and showing some type of payment,
or hold them in a
probably make their decision
different account.
to have the payment plan set aside.
Meg!
Yeah.
What a great Monday.
Even though she stated she's tried. But
I do know that
all she had to do was send in the payments. Sorry.
I do know that you got
a number of other parties that were separate. Too. So Ms. Ostrander, her position is you went through all this rigmarole, you didn't pay, they tried a garnishment, you asked for an installment payment, I gave you a generous installment payment, you still didn't pay, and so they filed a motion to set aside the installment payment order, and then you wrote your letter. So they want to go back to the original garnishment, take a large percentage of your wage. I'm not sure I'm prepared to do that, but it sounds like you've been kind of asleep at the switch yourself.
I respond when I know. I assumed that everything was taken care of. It was already being taken out. I'm not one to look at, this is my busy time of year. I'm not one to look at my check stub every week or every 2 weeks when I get paid. So I just assumed it was taken care of. Got a failure.
Shut up, Meg.
Called the court as soon as what's going on? Talked to my boss. She said she never received anything. That's when I was like, okay, I got to do something.
All right.
I do.
Meg's not even talking. We're already.
Shut up,
Michigan
Meg.
tax return every year.
Shut
You're
up,
a lay
Meg.
person, so they weren't doing a garnishment. You agreed to make a payment of $100 every 2 weeks. You didn't sign a voluntary wage assignment. You were supposed to pay them. They weren't supposed to then come seek it. Now, you misunderstood that. You just assumed they were going to reestablish something. Well, let me tell you this. This is on you. You have to make the payment directly to the law firm or set up a voluntary
So,
wage
Jen,
assignment with your employee.
is this one of those credit forgiveness, like?
So the letdown was on your end, not their end. And now they've foregone. It turns out to be $1,400, but not all that's on you. There was just confusion. So
wasn't.
All right, so this is like a
right, it isn't fair to them, but I'm going to
like a credit card type thing. The money she owed. She want one of those
No,
credit.
I think that it's a credit forgiveness, or one of the loan shark credit people that send me the $1,000 check that costs $3,500 to pay back.
All right.
I think that would be my guess.
We're going to catch up, and
Shut up, Meg.
the obligation to pay is on the defendant.
Who do I need to contact to start making these payments?
Like the mailbox money, Jen? Those type of people? Borderline loan sharks?
Jeremy Chisholm's office in Byron Center, Orbit Leasing, Inc.
Yes, they do, Elvis.
So
And there's JG right underneath you.
order
Perfect.
reestablishing
Yeah.
payments
I get a lot of mailbox money like that.
at
A lot.
$125 every 2 weeks.
Like a few grand a week, actually.
When would the payments begin? Sorry.
Oh, that's a good question. When do you get paid next?
I get a paycheck this Friday. I will call him and set up a payment as soon as we're off the phone.
All right.
I mean,
The phone number is not on here.
it's almost as bad as those places around here that are the title loan
I've
people.
got a 800-734-0170, but that was from back in 2014.
I would say for her to call 616-734-0172.
Thank you for staying on the feed and helping us with this, Ms. Francis.
Thank you,
We have
Judge.
resolved that.
Well, you know what time of day it is now. Creed usually goes for a smoke, but you know, every once in a while, which we don't have it over here, he goes for a Creed frame. Creed frame. Creed frame. We'll jump to mine while Creed's frozen.
All right. So I thought that might be an individual who is her, but apparently it is not. So Ms. Rourke, you are the landlord of Ms. Del Bosque.
Yes, I am.
Is she, to your knowledge, still in the premises?
Easy money game.
No, she's not.
Come back to Mag.
April 8.
It's Monday. I know you guys wanted one. Welcome.
I keep forgetting to put one over here. I gotta do that now.
You're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Ostrander, let's get on track. We'll get payments made and you chip away at this debt. All
Also
right, you're
agreed
good
to allow a tax return every year as well.
And that's their whole
Well, they
thing
don't-
is
That's a non-periodic.
hoping
They can take your state.
for that stuff, I would imagine.
And
But people
that
won't
does
pay.
also help chip away at it. But all right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. All right.
Yeah.
I've got people who for other matters.
Loud. I've seen some that were like that. It's insane.
Maybe late to my party. Mr. Belagano will be with you in just a minute.
Hashtag Monday Meg Day.
Oh, he's on the phone. Meg. Got a request. Whispering Pines in the house.
She's always got a little attitude. Oh, and John Bush, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't even see John pop in.
Founder of the Bush Bean Company.
I bet it is.
Good morning, Judge Middleton calling. Good
It's
afternoon.
all yours.
Did I see Kim Stager at one of the Polycom rooms via Zoom? Yeah. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, we're finished our general civil matters and we're back to the landlord-tenant matters.
We got a full cast of characters in here.
Hey, everything's going on today.
Could be good.
Sandoval v. Shears.
Somebody on the
Mr.
phone?
Sandoval is there with his attorney, Mr. John Bush.
John Bush got a haircut
I've got a couple of phone numbers
over the
here.
weekend.
I've got
Scores man got a tattoo. John Bush got a haircut.
There it is. And who's that? Alcatel Lumos?
Dude.
Also got a telephone number. Who am I speaking with there?
Christy Shears.
I am the liquor.
All right. So
She's on the phone and on camera.
All right.
Oh,
Chris
that's
Shears,
the name of the phone.
All right. Are you? All right. Who's 0581?
Oh, she is. Yeah.
That is what I'm talking on now. I couldn't get the,
You're logged in twice. All right.
well, I could not get the video to go until just
All right,
now,
well, we'll make it work.
but
So
I
it's
can't
just you
get no
time.
sound to come out.
Well, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Wow.
She's a keeper.
Yeah.
This is a termination of tenancy matter.
Shocker.
It's entitled Jose Sandoval versus Christy Dawn Shears. We were here on March 25th. This was filed as a termination of tenancy. Mr. Sandoval
Jay.
has filed a number of
That's,
photographs.
that was a thing.
which were testified to at
That
the
happened.
earlier hearing, showing the deplorable state of the premises.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Sandoval is also getting some heat from the township, I believe, to clean this property up. So he has moved to terminate the tenancy. There is no lease currently in effect.
Is
he the
Mr. dude?
Sandoval wants the defendant to move. Is that correct, Mr. Bush?
That's correct. We're not asking for back
Nah,
rent.
that was
We're
with
just
TJ.
asking for possession of the property.
This is another one. Remember the guy that we watched was smoking cigarettes, had the hat on?
Yeah.
That's not him.
What's your position?
I just got a hold of legal aid. They actually returned my phone calls today. And I was on the phone with him when I was trying to set all this up.
Looks a lot like Springer. You're
He's
right.
supposed to call me back sometime today at 2, but those pictures, I never received those pictures until like it was the 26th or the 27th.
I believe our house is
Pictures.
dirty.
I mean, we've been working on the property and getting it cleaned up now for quite some time.
I'm pretty sure this is the
And
first time I've ever
I-
seen somebody on video but talking through their
Miss
phone.
Bauer
Yeah, first.
on another case, but she probably knows nothing about this case. You don't have a lease.
Shut
Your
up, Meg.
landlord doesn't want you as a tenant anymore. You and or your kids have junkified his property and he's getting heat from the township. He's not asking you to clean the property up, although that will have to happen. He's asking you to move. We had the first hearing on March 25th, and I adjourned
Yes.
it 10 days.
I knew we were going to see John Bush today.
You can still contact legal aid, and they can ask to stay the matter. But there's a couple problems. One, you have no lease, so you're there at somewhat at sufferance. Two,
He did say
even
that,
if you
didn't
had a lease, he's alleging violations of the lease by all these photographs that show what you've done to the outside of the property. I don't know what the inside of the property looks like.
I'm sure it's spectacular.
They're not asking for money damages. They simply want you to move.
Get out.
It looks like you're in a camper trailer right now. Is that where you are, in a trailer?
Yes.
Yes, I got my kids inside and I just wanted to be able to hear a little bit better.
Are people living in the camper trailer?
No, we're inside the house. I just I came out here so I could hear because my kids are inside. And I just didn't want the distraction.
All right. Mr. Bush, if there ever was a lease, when they rented it to Miss Shears, did they know that her children were going to be living with her at that time?
No, she don't have kids.
It's the first time
My
I've
client
seen it.
said she
I love
doesn't have children.
Only one with her boyfriend.
I have 3 kids. And they're all grown age.
All right. Well, yeah, they're adults. So they moved in with you after you originally moved in?
My oldest son moved in the same time we did.
No reason to watch the kids that are grown
And then
adults,
the others
Mikey.
moved in later?
Just my youngest son.
Today's the day of the
Um,
grown adult
He just
kids at
came back
home.
like maybe 3 weeks ago.
He's a big boy.
All right. Well, again,
I've
if
got
legal aid
it.
does call you back, they can ask for a stay. But at this point, I've got a multiple concerns. I've got concerns that someone may be living in this trailer. I've got concerns that there's junk all over the place, which we took testimony about on the previous date.
Wish we could see the pictures.
And there's no lease. So, Mr. Bush, you can send me a judgment. The defendant has 10 days to vacate which would
Okay,
be April 14th.
Seriously, I'd love to see those two together.
Can I say
on a date.
something,
Yes, certainly.
please? We got a storage shed, and I told him that
I told my son to move in there.
and I told Anthony that we would be moving or putting everything
Into the
in the
shed.
storage shed.
Ain't Nancy.
And I mean, he came out like 3 or 4 different times and shut our water off consistently.
Yeah.
To where I had to
You
get St. Joe
mentioned
County.
that Before, obviously they can't do that. That violates the Landlord-Tenant Relationship Act. It has some serious consequences for a landlord that does that. I don't know whether that's the circumstance now. The water's not off now, is it?
No, I had to get the sheriff's department to come and talk to him and have him to turn it back on after like 6 days.
All right, well, this
But-
isn't under.
Ooh.
Mr. Sandoval,
And-
Mr. Bush will tell you, you can't do that. You can't shut
And
off
I-
your tenants of water.
And I had another question.
Stop. Only one person.
And I
can
haven't.
So, all right.
The lecture's been given.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, what else would you like me to know?
Well, as I was given, it's John, the guy who with legal aid, I was giving him the information on these papers. And I guess that it was my fault. I didn't read them before. It says Jose Sandoval. I rent the place off of Anthony Sandoval. I
All
don't
right, well,
know if that's the same person, if it's a middle name or what, but
Find another place to rent, and it's through a.
and I've been currently moving and cleaning the place up. I just can't live in a storage shed.
Oh, I
Sure
think-
you can.
Yeah.
Are Jose
I think you
and
could
Anthony
handle that.
Sandoval the same person?
What up, though?
Is there an Anthony Sandoval?
My son.
That's his son?
My name is
Well,
Jose
we
Sandoval.
got more problems. Who owns the property?
Me, sir, Jose Sandoval.
All right, well, how is Anthony involved?
I don't know. I don't know where she got that name.
He has a son by that name, but he doesn't believe that he was involved in negotiating or moving her in.
So you've been involved with this tenant from the beginning, is that true?
Yes, I rent the house to this person, and she told me only 2 people, her boyfriend and her, going to live in the house.
And that
And
is, to my knowledge, that is Anthony that is speaking.
All right.
Never met a Jose.
Well, this is him.
This,
All right, you have 10 days to move or ask
I-
for a stay.
That's kind of weird
I
there.
want you to submit a judgment and we'll execute it. There's
Is there
multiple issues.
A file, Your Honor?
Excuse me?
Is there not a judgment already submitted?
You usually do that. Let me look.
I can't live in a storage
get the
unit,
one up
especially
there.
with my 4 kids.
Yeah.
Well, you're very good at it, but I didn't see it. So let me look.
It's probably a very small place. She moved God and everybody in there with them.
Well, yeah,
And they
you
didn't
knock
pay
down
the
on the rent.
Yeah. Junkify.
I don't believe so, John.
I will get a judgment there tomorrow, Judge.
I don't know who Zay is. That's Anthony talking right now.
All
Your
right,
Honor.
now,
Case
as
solved.
soon as I get this judgment, you need to get it. And if you're gonna take it to legal aid and ask for some sort of a stay, I encourage you to do that ASAP. But at this point, I find there's no lease. He indicates you made false representations about moving in, and he's under heat from the township.
She's going to have to be out in 10 days.
So he's not asking you to clean it up, he's asking you to move. And we took some testimony about the condition of the property on 25th. All right.
It must be really bad if the county's coming after.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
mean, it's got to be like really bad.
Come on. Next one, I think, is a Meg case.
Let's see where we are next. Mr. Bush.
She's still breathing real heavy right now. She needs to see a doctor.
Mr. Steger is in jail, and
Get removified.
you can deal with him, so don't go away.
Had to get somebody out of jail to talk to him.
We've seen
He's not going
some great banter between Meg and Whispering Pines too before.
It's crazy. We try to own a business, not a business, but owning, some little something. You got to throw people out
All
there
right.
for stuff.
This is our next to last.
It's a nightmare.
matter of the day. This has got quite a lot of history in it. The next matter we have before us is Whispering Pines 2 versus Amber Marvin and any other occupants at lot 154.
Oh, I think
Ms. Lint is here, the manager from Whispering Pines. Robin Maccabee is here on behalf of the plaintiff.
Hey,
Meg Bauer is here from Legal Aid.
Did you call?
Amy Lucas and Sandra Cook are here from Keystone. And I appreciate their being.
Is this 254-1912?
Who is getting so turned on right now?
What? Yes? Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna mute your mic for now.
Nailed it. He had to mute some mics. People were getting crazy in there. Everything got really quiet.
Yeah, it's awkward silence. What's happening right now?
These biscuits. Hey!
Attorney Maccabee, did you just try to say something?
No,
How
was like,
dare you speak?
talking, but I cannot hear him.
Robin.
Shut up, Meg.
We cannot hear you.
Shut up, Meg.
He muted
Meg, you cannot hear me?
No, that was, I can hear you, Attorney
He
Maccabee,
muted himself when he
but I could not hear Judge Middleton. as
muted
you stated. No.
them.
Amy. Shh. Okay, Judge Middleton's like.
I think he's saying he has to turn it off.
Shut up, Meg.
I'm not a great lip reader.
Shut up, Meg.
Oh, we know you're a hell of a lip reader. He's having to turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah, I think so. I think he just accidentally cut himself.
And,
All right.
So let me just ask initially, Mr. Mr. Blair.
Let's see what's happening here, and I'll monitor when they
comes back in.
And wait a minute, it's showing the third.
Now that I'm looking at it, but could you?
Wait, he's already back.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
Turn it off.
Oh.
Is this the thing where you're saying you're gonna turn it off?
And you eat.
It's gonna be in a whole new stream.
Yeah.
Let me do that a little differently. Is this some construction work you did for him, Mr. Blair?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Could you
That dude does
describe it?
construction work?
Describe what
While
the
we're over in
problem is?
Clark W. Griswold's court, I will be on it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, Mr. Callan had contacted me to come in and look at the work that he needed repaired kind of desperately. And when I walked in, it looked like kids put this materials together, and he wanted me to redo everything that was done there. Well, along the way, it started adding things on, and I was constantly, almost every conversation, I said, I need heat. I says, without heat, this is not going to set up right. The mud work was drooping. The paint was drooping and sagging. I had to go over that several times. The oil that was in the ceiling, he never told me anything, but I believe it was from smoke damage. And he never divulged that information. So we had to, on several attempts, try to clear it all out. But it was in every room and every ceiling. And that was never divulged to us at the beginning of the job until we started. Well,
What
this
type
last
of-
part,
Okay, I got a
Pardon?
couple questions, then you can finish up. What type of building were you working on?
on a condo and on just off of Main Street on Ted Street.
All right, on Ted Drive.
Down
I
on
am
Main
familiar,
Street.
With those condominiums there. So I'm looking at the
Aren't we all?
proposal you said that you have, or I don't know if it's a proposal, but the documents you sent to the court. And
Things like small
the first
claims.
number I see is $1,500. Where does that number come from?
15?
Well, I know there's more numbers there. I see your total is $4,999, but this was what you just sent here in the last week or two that says balance of 1,500. And I know there's
Yeah.
more numbers, but I want to know where that.
The original account was just over $12,000.
Woo!
The first agreement.
Okay. And what do you say is a 1,500? What you say is still owed on that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And do you have that document in front of you that I'm looking at?
Which ones are the original agreement?
Well, no, is the one that you just sent into the court that we
Oh,
received
no.
on March.
I gave you the original.
Do you have a copy?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Okay.
This guy seems like he's not well. Should we be letting him do carpentry work? He doesn't seem like he's doing all that great. Or maybe he's just really skinny all the time, Mike.
Okay. Yes, sir. I've got a copy right here.
Okay. So I'm now looking at the second number. It says remove and change plumbing in both bathrooms from copper to Pyrex or whatever that is, leaking in the wrong areas. $800. Where did you come for? How did you get to that $800 number?
I put PEX plumbing in there instead of copper because it's such a cold foundation and walls are all concrete. The original copper that was in there was leaking, and then the part for the carryover to the other bathroom was above and protruding the wall. So I took a picture of all of that and I sent it to him. I said, in order for me to insert the shower, I had to redo the whole plumbing in that corner and over to the other bathroom.
All right.
And the plumbing that I put in will withstand severe temperatures. Not like
braggart.
One at a time, please. All right.
Sorry.
Mr. Blair, then the next item is $420 that says all door and window frames stripped and redone, 12 in all. And could you just describe that briefly, please?
Okay,
Oh,
every
getting a
door
lesson
frame in
today.
the window, it looked like somebody just gone in there and started to rip everything out without the proper procedure of trying to save it. So the frames were literally, wind was blowing through it, and the windows, all the door jambs were. I had a lot to do to get them to look halfway decent, but he didn't want to replace them.
Okay. All right. Next, number 5 is reframed to 2-bedroom windows. What is that?
That's the ones that were blowing wind in. The
Windy City Bobby.
Pretty much the same thing.
Aren't you kind of surprised we don't see more of
Everything
this
that
like
was
shoddy work from customers?
Everything that was demolished in that
construction
condo
stuff. I'm
was literally torn
surprised.
off of it. There was no proper procedures done at all.
All right. Let's move on to number 6 then. That's
I wish I knew what that was.
Ceilings 12 plus 5 coats of paint. What is that?
That's the oil that I believe is from smoke damage. And if I'd have known from the beginning that there was that much oil, and if it was smoke damage, I could have used the proper stuff.
All right. Was this I'm familiar with Ted Drive. My recollection is that there were 4 condo buildings there that one burnt to the ground
I believe so, sir.
2-3 years ago. Okay. Obviously, this wasn't that building, but all right.
Steve, you can pop it in there.
Next
We'll see if
is,
anything's going on, if they're live.
Yeah, if you got one you want to check out.
$150
Especially
for
if
extra muddy
something
repairs
interesting
not
going
in
on.
agreement.
over in each bathroom, there's a soffit area where you can add lighting and stuff like that, cast over the sinks, and continues all the way to the same wall over the tubs. Well, he wanted that left open. He said he was going to take care of that. Well, when we were done mudding and painting in those rooms, he decided he wanted us to finish them.
He went out
So
mudding
that's
in
where
the
that
middle of
came
doing
from.
a contractor
mean,
job.
Right.
Yeah,
Now, the
I
next
mean,
thing says.
shit, that's not
close those
professional. Let's
soffit
face it.
holes in the bath. What is
Yes,
that?
that's
Dirt biking,
that's the
yes.
same
Mudding,
thing.
no.
Okay, all right. Then the next says plus all receipts at $1,089.97. What is that?
Yes, sir. That's
What are
that's
those
correct.
Are
Those
those the
receipts.
receipts that you attached?
Yes, you got a copy of them. I brought them in just in case.
Right. And are these things that you said that you're saying you purchased and were put into this building?
Yes, this is extra stuff that he did not cover or send me the money to cover, which was tile, the grout and stuff like that.
I do have those receipts. Got a couple other questions.
By the way, 3B,
I'm assuming from what you
Middleton
said,
is
because you
not
said
back
there was
yet.
a $12,000 contract
Wonder why.
that he has paid you some money. Is that
Steve, there
correct?
has,
Oh,
I
yes.
don't think there's
Yes,
been
sir. I'm not
we got a
denying
case
that.
that we haven't spent
and
at
how much
least
has he
20
paid
minutes
you?
over there with
No,
Mr.
yeah,
Cordell
well,
slash Kim.
Minus the 1,500 off of that.
Okay, so it's basically
Love it.
$1,500 from 12,000.
F-Pod for life.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so my math would say it's 10,500. And then are you saying that everything else you just described to me?
I looked
on this
all
list,
last night, Monkey, to
things that
try and
were over in
find
addition to what was covered by that 10,500?
what I was looking for. I couldn't find. If you know the link to their Zoom
Yes.
Corp, please send it.
Some of the best first appearances.
On the
of those Florida
extras,
ones
I
I've seen.
told him from the beginning of the job that there's
I can imagine
unforeseen
Miami would be
things.
great.
Like when I opened up or tried to insert the shower and bathtub, that plumbing was all bad through there, and they had to be repositioned in order to install the tub and wrap.
Okay, now here's the next question that I have. When I add all those numbers up, and you, I think, got the same thing.
Okay, is that like the stuff like you see people putting
if you
like
look
the
at that
blue?
sheet that
Looks
you
like a
gave me, it says $3,910.
pool noodle inside the pipe.
See
Yes,
that?
sir.
And
Yeah,
then
it
you
makes
have
sense, a little
the
extra
total that you're seeking
padding,
is
if you will.
$4,999.97.
Yes, sir. That's what I have here. Plus heat
Okay.
cost.
Okay, so I guess my question is,
I
how
don't
did you
think
get
that they're
$3,910 to
usually around this
$4,999?
time.
They should be live in about the next 10 minutes.
With the 1,500 plus the extras I did.
Okay, let me stop you for just a minute, though. When I added those up, and I'll add them again if I need to, but those items 1 through 8 total $3,910. Do you see that number at the bottom of your?
Yep, that's what I have there.
Okay, then, and the number right below that is $4,999.97. See
Yep.
that number?
Yes, I do.
What is the difference between the $4,999 and the $3,910?
I've got plus the heat cost, the fuel that we had to supply.
Can you describe that? What do you mean when you say that?
Propane, and there's a special fuel so it doesn't leave this a raunchy odor from the burning of the fuel that goes into a torpedo.
Okay.
And then the
Guy's got his house
propane
rigged
is
with
in a
torpedoes.
100,
I mean,
100-gallon
he's
tank,
self-defense.
which is a clean burner. And I've used both of those while we were there to keep that place heated, and so we can just move on and get this job done. But
Was the heat
all along-
necessary for the work to set or take, or however you would say it?
Pardon me?
Was the heat necessary? Or let me ask that differently. Why did you have to have heat in there?
It has to have heat to dry out properly. With the concrete and cement block walls, it's constantly cold in there and won't maintain a temperature. So if it doesn't maintain a certain temperature, it won't cure
Chuck?
right. It won't set up right.
Okay, all right. And now I have one other number.
Huh.
When at the bottom, you have below that $4,999, you have $5,219.
No, I feel
What's the
stupid.
difference between those two numbers? Is that just court costs?
I think that's what it was, Your Honor.
Okay, right.
I've been working such long days, and I just practically threw this thing together with what I had wrote down.
I mean, I have different court costs than you, although it's close. I have $132.54.
Oh, okay.
So, which would make the total based on these numbers that you're seeking, and I haven't heard from Mr. Callen yet, but you're seeking is $5,132.51.
Is the guy saying they
Alright,
did just a bunch of
all
work that he
that,
didn't need, basically? Is that what I'm getting? Or?
That's what I'm waiting to find out, because it seems like the dude's work was kind of legit.
Yeah.
Response to Mr. Blair's position.
Well, I mean, a lot of things
Hi, Dan.
he said it's not correct.
Does it look like he has a menu from a Chinese restaurant above him with all the pictures of the different plates?
I made a deposit of $5,000 before he even got started. Let me pull
I'll
up
take
here.
the orange chicken. Egg,
So
Dan,
so
number
far
5,
I've paid
Sean's
$10,937.25.
egg roll, please.
Basically, that cover 88% of the original quote that I signed for. Doug met me at the condo twice. He inspected the place
Condo?
with his son. So I bought that condo on what do you call it? Auction. So I didn't know what happened to that beforehand. But Doug came there twice. One time with his son. He looked over the place. He had all opportunities to inspect the place. For I believe at least over an hour each time. So
I thought they're
didn't
called
even know,
salamanders.
there was oil up on the ceiling until he pointed it out, and it was only in a couple of spots. So I got the quote from him. Even on the initial quote, it said that I would send pictures and receipts throughout.
Doug's
the
over here
process.
making some faces, boy.
So I never got any receipts from him. Never got any, even though I text him, call him, and ask him to send me the receipts. The receipts that was included in the court, that was the first time I saw those receipts. And to be honest, I don't know if he used those items on my condo or at the other jobs, because I've never seen them. What I looked at, he bought those with the other job that he's working on. So I don't know what they are for, to be honest. As far as the heat goes, yes, there was no heat in the apartment because all 3 heater units were not functioning, and I had those replaced. As soon as they were replaced and the electrical issues worked out, I've asked Doug to start using those.
Happy birthday, Jay.
It's just that
this guy's making some weird ass
Doug
noises.
disappeared for weeks at a time without even returning my phone calls, my emails. I sent him emails, text messages, phone calls, voicemails.
I need to focus on the things that he is suing you for, those
Okay.
dollar amounts. I mean, the rest,
He's having to
it's just
sue
small
him
things.
to get
The
his rest
I
of his
can't
money.
really address one way or the other.
Okay, sure. Okay, so Doug never sent me any additional quotes for extra work that he claimed he provided. So
Okay.
I never authorized
That's
anything.
the truth.
I never asked him to do any extra work beyond the scope of work that was included in the original quote. I've never signed anything for additional work. I've never asked him to do anything. So all of this stuff to me, it's all new. I just don't see how at the last minute that he sprinkled this on and expect me to pay for it.
Did he do those items that he listed there?
I don't know. I mean,
Do you hear
I
the
just know
noises
that
he's making?
Yeah,
what he
it's
quoted
the
me for
whiny,
is
like
what he
Yes.
did, and it is not even finished. So uh, on January 5th, I sent him a list of things after he
hello, Larry.
decided to quit.
Larry Cobb, everybody.
I sent him a list of things that needed to be done still. So
She's
up until
available.
this day,
Sure, but
this
looks
job
mean.
started back in the end of August.
Let me stop you for a minute. Are those list of things, are those what's covered in your counter complaint?
What list, Your Honor?
Well, you said there's a list of
Oh.
things that you sent him.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get to that counter complaint in
yes.
just a minute.
Okay.
But this condo, you don't own that whole building, you just own one condo in it, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and is that rented now?
Yes, it's on Airbnb. There's a guest living there right now.
Okay, all right, when I guess if it's Airbnb, I don't know if it's intermittent. When did you start renting it?
That was just
Did he just say a minute ago
last
wasn't
month, Your Honor.
finished?
Okay, all right. Okay, now let me take a quick look at the counter complaint. I'll ask you some questions about that. But let me read it first, and then I'm going to hear from Mr. Blair on that, but give me just a minute.
I'm waiting for Doug to start calling him son, you need to listen to what I'm saying. Son, I don't believe you know what you're talking about. Son. Oh, Stephanie, you're welcome. No problem. Anytime.
We have a second. While Clark checks that out, we'll jump over to my meeting.
You're making amends, correct? I wasn't a bad father. I wasn't the father that I would have liked to be. And now you're making amends. And I already, I'm being who I am, what I was supposed to be. Where I appreciate that. No further questions, Judge.
That's all I have, Judge. Frank Trevino, Judge.
When did the Monopoly guy become a judge?
Greetings to everyone.
That is quite a stash.
You do?
Thank you, sir. Dr. Trevino, a couple of questions I'm going to have. You're the father of Alondra.
Dr. Dorito?
And you spent a lot of time with her, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is it your opinion that
Is Squeaky talking again? I see his green box.
That took the picture, sent an email to Doug. He concurred that it was when they moved it, they broke the mirror on that one. On the two toilets that were broken, I also included a text message along
I hope
with
that's
this
not
here that
Doug's house.
Even Doug admitted to that they
He's on the
installed
job.
the two toilets incorrectly and broke the seal on one of them and the studs on both of them, and that he's still need to fix those before the job is before he finished the job. And then the couch was not covered up properly; it had dust all over it, so I had to spend time to clean it up. And I also included a picture.
It's a
of that
little
as well.
nitpicky there, Dan.
All right, and then I guess I understand what you're saying. The cleaning fee is, what about the 50 hours for repainting walls?
Yeah. So
I paint slow, Your Honor.
basically, all of the
Real
items that they didn't do correctly, the paint job was done, the taping was not done correctly, having to take out the toilets and redo the toilets and put them back in, and all of those stuff took us about 50 hours to complete.
All right.
It's not like he did
Next
everything.
item, you're dealing with the shower floor.
Okay, so the shower floor, it basically wasn't done correctly. So even after 2 days, after you take a shower, there's water collecting on one end on the other side of the drain because they didn't put a proper
Very.
in on the floor to get the water to drain correctly. So all of that has to be torn apart and replaced.
Have you done that?
The shower
No,
doesn't drain
I
for
have
2
not done
days.
that, Your Honor. That's still
What?
one of the items that need to be redo.
All right. Okay, and I understand what you're saying on Airbnb. That doesn't mean I'm agreeing to it, but just that I understand it. Mr. Blair, what do you have to say in response to what Mr. Callan stated?
Well, Your Honor, I try to do this man a favor, and I warned him ahead of time I was working on 2 other contracts, and I would take care of it. We met over a year ago when I
On
first
Grindr.
knew about this place and first met him. And then he calls me
Dan was a
to
webcam
do
girl.
this back in August. But what he has just said about the shower floor, the following Monday after we laid the shower floor, we came back in and my tile cutter and buckets were sitting inside the shower.
You say turd
We
cutter?
didn't put them there. I had buckets in front of it to block it so nobody could go past it. As far as the mirror goes,
Well, hold on.
My-
Stop there for a minute. So what are you saying happened?
they put, because of no heat, constant heat, they put the tile cutter, which is a pretty good sized machine, and buckets onto the tile floor. I don't know why they put it there.
Excuse me, under the tile floor of the shower?
Yes,
Okay. And are you saying that that caused the grade to be wrong?
yes, because we use a level to put a constant pitch. But with the cement base, it's called a thin set.
Is that true, Vinny?
That doesn't move very easily. So the weight from those buckets and that tile cutter that was moved in there by them or someone else had to have done it because everything was level and pitched right.
All right. What is
Doug
your
knows all about
response to
pitching.
what he said about the repainting of the walls?
Doug Z. Goodstein.
Well, let's just do that one at a time. What about the repainting of the walls?
That I don't believe, Your Honor. First off, he started sending me pictures of
his pinger.
Probably the master bedroom where I had to remud it because of the freezing and sagging that it had caused. And that's the part that we had resanded and put more mud on 3 times.
I'm kind of on Doug's side right now.
Joints because it was not the right temperature. And as far as heat goes, I kept asking him, I said, I need heat now. He finally tells me towards the end that I could go over and turn the power on and plug them in now. But don't leave them on. We need it overnight.
Louisiana
said,
Dub,
I
somebody
need
put a tile cutter
continuous
and
heat.
a heavy bucket on there
This
that was
work
screwed up,
we're
right?
doing over and over again, and I've lost money. The whole job is lost because of the extra time we've had to put in there. I try to
People
be a
named
nice
Dan,
guy
you mean,
about
Joe?
everything, but some people just don't want to work with you and then turn it around on you.
Right, I don't want to get into things like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is my
Family
first
is one
time.
way or the other.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is my first time doing this.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, that's no harm.
Sir,
no
may I
foul
swear
at
in?
all.
Who are you?
Your Honor, can I swear in? I was the son that worked with him.
Okay, what's your name?
Thomas Lair. I'm his
Check
son.
me
I
out
was
on
the one that
Side
did the
Life.
work.
Okay, hold on a second. You said you're his son?
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay, if you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly
Bringing in
swear
the
or
sun.
affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. What did you want to say?
Sir, first, the mirror door, I was the one that moved the door. I'm about 6'3", 147 pounds, in good shape. Before I even moved the door, I took that
Who's
photo
interested?
that was in the picture that you received.
Right?
Audio issues.
Somehow or another, you muted yourself.
Oh no, he's gone completely.
There was like 4 doors
There we go.
in front of it. The by floor doors for a closet.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, they were against it, and as soon as I moved like 4 of those doors off it, I seen the big crack. I didn't touch that door till we sent them the photo. The door didn't get moved until he received the photo, so that way he knew it was broken before I even touched that door.
Is there any other items that you want to address?
Yeah, the talking about the taping, we taped everything, sir. Like anything that was touching another piece where he had already done this flooring, we made sure we taped. The parts that he's talking about not being finished is the caulking. It probably took about maybe an hour or 2 worth of work. And what we did was the walls are so uneven, it's kind of beveled, so you can't just make it even. I re-caulked it, then I re-taped it, and then I repainted it for him, so it looked even better. It was cut in way tighter that way. There's one part of the room where it has like wood paneling. It's called T1 of 11, and the wall is literally bowed. Where right, I couldn't get it to even barely anchored to it. Let alone
Am I
put a
correct to
half inch
assume
caulk
that
in it.
Doug
It
went
was
back
never
and
set
fixed a lot of
anyways.
things for this guy too? Is that why he's
And
saying
that
it's
needed
like
to be
this
replaced
total
completely.
loss?
I
The
don't
painting
know.
I mean, it
wise,
sounds like he
the only
even went
painting
back
that
and
wasn't done in
redid
that
some
building,
stuff
sir,
for you.
was the touch-up caulking at the bottom of the floor. Maybe 2 hours worth of work. The toilets, we weren't even contracted to do the toilets. We were looking out for them, and I tried putting them in 4 times. Whoever took those toilets out broke the flange, so where even the T-bolts to hold the toilet in place would not stay in.
And it was above grade.
Yeah, nothing was even.
Yeah.
Sir, I put 7 coats on that ceiling for him to cover that oil spots. I spent almost 2 weeks on just the ceiling. I painted it, and then I found it come through again. So I made a citrus cleaner with like orange citrus and another chemical that removes oil base. And I scrubbed the wall, then repainted it again. He said that there was some damage to the wall. You could see where he or somebody else brought some material in that building and hit the walls with the corner of it, which made damage into the wall. We repatched that for him and repainted that for him. We went above and beyond. The windows would not seal if we didn't do what we did. Nothing was even. The window flushing was 1 3/4 inches back, and he wanted us to trim that. We can't put trim on
How is
something
there
that's 1
no
3/4 inches away from the frame.
proof with like a bunch of
There's
pictures
nowhere
and
for us
stuff
to
to
put it.
refer to?
Yeah, or
And
you know,
wait, go ahead.
No,
I just
is there any? Okay, all right, well, like I say, this is a small claims court. They're tended to be quicker. I'm going to hear from Mr. Callen, and then I'm going to make a decision. Mr. Callen,
Okay.
anything else you wanted to say, Mr. Callen?
Yeah, so
I'm sure he's got
I
plenty.
just wanted to say, right? So what he just mentioned doesn't correlate with this text message that I received from Doug, which I included in the message to the court as well. Doug stated in his text message to me that yes, they broke the mirror when they
that's
moved it,
definitely Doug's
and
son.
they broke the toilets and the flange
No
when
DNA
they
test
were
needed.
trying to put the toilets back in. So those damages were caused by Doug and his son. So that's included in the email that I sent to you. And
They've let this
there's a
go
list of
on a very long
items
time.
that they needed to finish that they
should already be
didn't
ruled on
get
this.
through. So for them to say that a couple of hours I find it hard to believe because it's been 3 months now and they're still not finished with the job yet. So I don't see how they're gonna be able to finish all that in a couple of hours. The list of work that still needed to be done, I sent to Doug on January 5th,
Doug's son's writing
including
down. F
shower
this
handle
guy.
installed incorrectly, no hot water coming out of shower, need to be recaulked around bathtub and walls, recaulk
Good
shower
luck to the
panels,
judge
bathtub,
having to
missing piece of
rule on
kickboard that needs to be caulked, moldings and kickboards. Master bathroom, need to install the glass panel. Toilet installed incorrectly, base plate is broken, shower floor doesn't drain properly, no grout on the bottom of the base plate. General, missing kickboards inside living room closet, missing trims on inside of all 3 closets. Need to inspect and caulk all trims and baseboards. Those are the items that they have not yet completed. So for them to say that I need to pay them that money and extra work, it's just not making any sense when I didn't authorize them to do any extra work. when they never seek my permission to do any extra work or give me a quote for any extra work. So I don't see how I can pay for something that not completed and that I didn't authorize. Does not make any sense.
All right. Well, there's a
This ought
legal
to be
theory
interesting.
called quantum meruit, which is Latin for basically value provided. If something is done that has some value, whether it was ordered or not, there can still be liability for it. But these are small claims cases. If we're talking a couple $100,000 that we're arguing about, then it's developed much differently in front of a judge than a claim on the one hand for about $5,100 and on the other hand a counter complaint for about $5,000. So I'm going to issue an opinion that's just going to be a dollar amount, and I will get that out in a day or two, and it will encompass both the claim and the counter complaint, and I will deal with that. Before I do that, you've each heard what the other person has said, and would it do you any good now that you perhaps have a more clear understanding of the other side's position? Do you wish to have another discussion with the mediator? Because I'm going to make a decision and that will be it. I mean, that will resolve the things and your input in it is done. But on the other hand, if you guys thought taking another shot with the mediator, that's fine as well. I'll ask each of you
No.
separately. Mr. Blair.
Dan's impossible.
I'm
I
not going to
think.
hold it against you if you say yes.
Dan
or you
ain't
say
backing
no.
down.
Do you
No.
have an interest in going back to the
He'll
mediator?
nitpick
again
another
or not?
3,000 things.
No, sir, Your Honor. For the
Okay,
simple
all right,
fact,
you don't need to get into any reason. I said I won't hold it against you and I won't. I'm not gonna ask Mr. Callen the same question because unless you're both willing to, it'd just be a waste of time for me to order you to go there. So I'm not.
I
going
think
to
if
do
I was
that.
Doug, I'd just
We'll
take
issue an
whatever it
opinion
is. Say
Don't
that'll
you
be
go
mailed
there.
out in the next
between
couple
both
of
of them.
days. I thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
sir.
much.
Damn, we won't even find out the end.
Oh.
It's just gonna be a.
Right, next is a matter of thunder
Yeah.
being pressure.
All right, well, let's end today our last bit over to Judge Kim's place with Judge Porter.
BRB.
We're trying to work out something, hopefully this week if possible.
All right. The reason I ask is our numbers are pretty high here.
Yes, sir.
And I imagine you've probably been in touch with Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Jones has probably filled you in on some of the kids we've got here. And so it may be better for Dacian, the sooner Dacian can get back to TGJD than stay here.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jordan.
Sounds good, Damon. Don't forget today is Mini Chase Monday.
My name is Judge Porter. The law says when
405.
you're brought into detention, you must see a judge within 2 business days. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Lisa Herrick, is here. Good afternoon, Ms. Herrick. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm well, thank you. Hi, Jordan.
All right. Jordan, you failed to appear for court
Jordan.
last week. You're on probation out of Judge Terry's court. So I'm going to find that probable cause exists to believe that you may have engaged in delinquent conduct, more specifically absconding from the jurisdiction of the court when you're supposed to be here.
G-Pod. Not level 1
Eric.
outstanding.
Yes, sir.
I'm inclined to keep him here based on the allegations in the detention hearing report. They concern me greatly. And I will let you get with Mr. Jones.
They just had a couple of F-Potters
the
through.
rest of the crew, as well as the assigned prosecutor, in figuring out an appropriate next course of action. All right.
I understand. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I'm going to order that you be detained. Thank you, Jordan.
Don't be absconding.
All
as they
right.
say.
These hearings have been broadcast live on YouTube in keeping with
And
the Fair
that
State Court's provision of the Texas
is it with them, I
Constitution.
guess. Damn, I caught the last one.
That you have in front of you. We are ineligible to go through the small claims court system.
No.
If you were to look through the contract on number 9, it says
Don't need to tell me anything beyond you're withdrawing your counter complaint. So I will dismiss it. That's a dismissal without prejudice. I'm not making any findings on whether it's valid or invalid. So all we're dealing with now is the principal complaint from Mr. Greaves. So
he can't, though, Your Honor, within our contract. I
Yes,
apologize.
well, hold on. This is a small claims court. I'll hear what you have to say, but I'm going to hear what he has to say first because he's a plaintiff. And then I'll hear what you have to say. That's how these things work.
You bought into.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Grease, if you would,
Jeez.
let me just look at the initial affidavit here. All right. So go ahead, Mr. Grease, and then I'll hear
Yes.
if you want your to say anything. I'll
Yep,
hear from
yes.
her.
Yep, sorry, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. On early November, I had laid up my soft wash system. I own a power washing company. The year prior, I started our hot shot hauling company, so I lost my plow counts prior. So
Okay,
this,
sir, I have to interrupt you only because you're on Zoom. You need to keep your face, your mouth towards the camera. If there are documents you look at, have those in front of you, because if you turn to the side, it gets hard to hear.
I hate that we
Okay, I
missed Meg. He never
apologize.
went back live.
And yeah, you got closer. That helps me. Now go ahead.
okay. So
Clark W.
early
Griswold,
November, I
Dragon
had contacted DJ because I plowed for him one time for a customer would have been 3 years ago. So I called him up early November. I asked him, hey, DJ, do you have any plow counts? So he called me and says, hey, I got some plow counts. Yeah, you can work. You can plow for me. So I said, okay. And of course, I live in Alpena and I, drive
Somebody's
over
getting
there.
plowed, Mike.
So he,
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
he told us he would do a contract. So he sent the contract. I think it was around the 8th. I have that. You had that in front of you too, Your Honor. So my wife read it over and we signed it. So after that, you got a snowstorm. I think it was November 30th, something like that, 29th or 30th. I went and plowed him.
Whoa.
He subcontracted me out. Okay, so I go and plow. And in the contract, it stipulated that DJ In Times will pay Thunder Bay pressure washing on the 5th of every month.
You plowed him.
December 5th rolls around. I'm also plowing the accounts again. No pay. I told Dylan, I said, Dylan, I need $800 for my earnest because we sold our house in town and we're putting, you know what I mean? That earnest money you put on for a deposit for a house.
Did he plow
So
Ernest?
He gave me the 800. Well, he said I still owe him. So anyways, on December, I plowed December 5th and 6th, wrote everything down. He took pictures of it, everything. On December,
Took
before
pictures
we
of
go
the
that
plowing?
far, he called me and asked me for Bell Tire. He says, hey, can we salt Bell Tire? I said, DJ, I have no capabilities of
Salt it
Bell
before you
Tire.
plow it?
Well, apparently I found out why he lost, but he said he was going to let him go. And you have that proof in front of you. So on the 5th,
What's the safe
it
word?
was either the 5th or 6th, Your Honor, I went into 570, right, Nikki? 570 Mishaway Drive. The driveway goes, slopes up. If you know Mishaway, I know you know where Mishaway is, but some of the houses, the drives go up. And I told him I didn't want to plow this, but I did. So what I did is I pushed the snow straight up on the north side driveway. Okay, I'll get to that. The north side driveway, I pushed the snow up the hill. So I went to the south side of the driveway, and I started going up and pushing. Well, as soon as I got so far up, I couldn't go any further because it was so wet and packy underneath. So I started backing up, and my front end of my passenger or driver's side truck slid into a tree. So it was probably
Throwing it out
maybe
there, man.
2 feet where I hit the tree. I took a picture. We sent it to courts. So I called DJ. I hit my head on the window. I wasn't hurt or nothing.
Oh, so he's
I
plowing
called
him in the
DJ
truck.
and I said, hey, DJ, I'm stuck in this driveway that I didn't want to plow. But I plowed it anyways. That was my foolish. I shouldn't have did it. So he calls the tow. I think it's Gaylord Towing he called. Gaylord Towing comes. They can't even get the truck
You can't
up
make this shit up,
Mishaway.
man.
They had to call for a tractor with a bucket. The tractor comes. He goes to the north side of the driveway, goes up, hooks me up. We had to tie my bumper to a tree on the south side of the tree. Okay. So as they're pulling me up, it's pulling my truck out so my rear end of my truck wouldn't go in the ditch. Okay. Then after that, everything's good. I wouldn't finish my plow counts. So on the 7th, and I told him on the 6th,
Yes.
that's when I got the 800 from him. And then I said, Dylan, I need money for gas because all my money I'm paying for my insurance, my fuel, my time, I haven't gotten paid on the 5th, which the contract stipulated that DJ, or what is it? In time by DJ LLC pays Thunder Bay Pressure Washing on the 5th. I have a company. I pay my employees on a Friday. If my clients don't pay, that's on me. So then I told him on the 6th that I needed to, if he would loan me, not loan, but give me $800, he could take it out of my pay. So he did. Well, then I needed gas, and he's like frustrated. Why you need gas? I'm like, DJ, I got to get fuel here. I can't do the accounts. And I told him that night, the 7th was my grandbaby's birthday. She's 3 years old. I don't miss my grandbaby's birthday for nothing.
Nope.
I come home on the 8th, December, right? You said for December 8th, he had called me, and you have a text message too, Your Honor, that DJ had sold his business. Now, I'm not a judge. You would probably know if I'm correct or wrong. If he sold his business, then I need paid. And that's what I was saying. I texted him. I tried to contact him. He says, seek my lawyer. I go see his lawyer. I drop the papers off, try to resolve this out of court. Then he sends me this thing about arbitration. I was in a union. Arbitration, same as mediation. We tried to solve it in mediation. We couldn't solve nothing in mediation. Every time I try to prove my case, he comes back, well, you owe this. I owe that. So he sent the courts, Your Honor. He had sent the courts. I raised my hand to tell the truth. I solemnly swear. He sent documents to the court stating that I ruined a customer's septic tank and ran over it on the west side.
Mr. Grease, let me interrupt because this is small claims court. What I want, I'm looking at your small claims affidavit. If I'm reading your numbers correctly, you are seeking a claim for $5,477.07, correct?
Quite a bit.
I'll let my wife get in that because she does all the billing.
Okay, but what my next question is, is going to be after that is to tell me how you got to that. And maybe she's the one who will do that. In other words, you're telling me things and I'm not here to agree.
Bring that hottie on the cam.
I need to know where that number comes from. So if your wife is there, ma'am, I probably didn't swear you in. If you'd raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear or affirm
she's a hottie, all right.
That will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So
I'm wondering why he's in a truck plowing some other guy.
All right, and could you tell me your name, please?
Nicole Grice.
All right, and Ms. Grice, I'm gathering you probably do the books and billings for your husband's company, correct?
Correct.
As opposed to being out there doing the plowing or whatever the business itself is.
She beats
right?
No, I help with the pressure washing. I wasn't helping with the plowing.
Okay, all right. Anyway,
he did that all on his own.
The amount that you're seeking is $5,477.07. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Welcome to overtime, by the way.
That number comes from, how you got that amount. I'm looking for figures at this point.
Okay. I sent an itemized joust application, how we do our billing, and I broke down everything.
Did you send that to the court?
Yes.
Did they joust like American Gladiators?
Let me find that.
Okay.
I'm gonna be pissed if we stay in overtime just to find out that he's like, I'll let you know about money later, like the last.
I guarantee you that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, hold on, let me look at that.
Don't. Why's she choking herself?
Oh, she's thinking about plowing later.
All right, is this a list of, no, that's not numbers, excuse me.
It would say Thunder Bay Pressure Washing.
So many great opportunities. I'm ready to plow.
Thunder Bay Pressure Washing. On the right-hand corner, it says in time by DJ LLC, and at the top it says
all right,
invoice.
I do see that. I have that in front of me. Let me just look at, and so it's just like a 3-page, or maybe just a second. How many pages is it?
Three pages, Your Honor.
Okay, and at the bottom, it has a remaining amount number. not quite at the bottom, maybe, but on page 3, there's a remaining amount number
Yep,
of $4,262.07.
yep.
Okay, where,
Yes,
you know, the
Your
amount you're
Honor.
suing for is 5477.07.
Yep, when I filled it out, I failed to
Okay.
see the payment.
Threw out a
on
few
it.
numbers.
That's
It
all right.
sounded good to
That's
me.
all right.
Plus
So
the
what
court
you're
costs.
saying, okay, and, you know, I'll deal with court costs at the end of the
Okay.
case. But, so you're saying what you're suing for then is $4,262.07.
Correct.
Correct.
I'm sorry about that, Your
Okay.
Honor.
And that's all right. That's no. All right, and.
No harm, no foul, baby.
And that amount comes from all the other things on page 1 and 2, minus the payments that were made. And,
Correct.
okay, so I
Correct.
understand this. Now, Mr. Grice, did you say the other individuals here, Ms. Sharp, had some things that were relevant to this case that you wanted her to talk about?
May I please?
Okay, all right, so I'll hear from you, Ms. Sharp. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
I had hired in time by DJ LLC to plow the snow here for our company. We signed a contract
Finally.
in November. In
Now we know who
December,
she is.
I get it. He's saying me he's up in the pricing. Well, I told him I wouldn't accept that I was going to cancel. This is just kind of I don't know, just telling you what he does. And he went from $30 for plowing to $50, $5 for salting to $10. He's saying that it was the cost of going, prices of everything up.
Ma'am, I don't want to interrupt, even though I know that's what I'm doing. What I need, my job in this is to determine if Mr. Grice did his plowing and, did the plowings that are referenced on this that come to that $4,200 amount.
When he was plowing for us for DJ, he did a good job. He showed up on time when he was supposed to and did a good job. And we
Can you
paid
tell
for
me what?
DJ on
Okay, can
time.
you-
The day I got the bill, I would go on and pay online right then. So he got the money from us. It's not that he wasn't getting paid by us to not pay this gentleman.
What is your company, ma'am?
Lakeview Quality Tool.
All right, going back to Mr. or Mrs. Grice, is that one of those?
It's
it
plowing with
probably
the quality
says
tool, Green.
LVQT, Mr. Grice, on your billing?
Yes, Lakeview,
Oh,
yes,
it says here
LVQT.
LVQT, which would be Lakeview Quality.
That is
Yeah.
correct, Your Honor.
LG.
All right, okay, so Mr. Eller,
LQT.
I'd like to hear from you at this point. All I'm interested in this point is what is on that statement of the billings amount or the payments that were made or not made. So what did you have to say?
He's only charging $5 to
Dollar?
salt something.
He apparently is not.
Was he a
Hello, sir.
12-year-old kid cutting
Is
grass?
this Mr. Eller?
Yes, I apologize. I don't know what
That's
ended up
all right.
happening. I'm back.
Technology happens, nothing we can do about that, but what I'm interested in is the billings from Mr. Grice and, whether the work was done. I'm not going to go off on any rabbit trails from either side on other things. So what did you want to say concerning this?
Your Honor, this, within our contract that you have received, on section 9, this cannot go through small claims. This has to go through arbitration. It is as in mediation, but arbitration is a private nonprofit, so it can't go in front of small claims. With that being said, you have seen where he did sign the contract on the 8th at 8:02 p.m. And at that point in time, that's why I'm dropping my part of it, my part of it, because unfortunately I was unable, or at that point in time,
Yeah,
I
he
was
said
sick
that.
and I had to go down to U of M for a blood cancer diagnostic. So again, I do apologize for wasting the court's time, but I do wanted to point out within our contract stating it would be this. To answer your question, Jay Grice did do the work for me.
However, he did not submit any documentation to me as I requested when we spoke about it. Within the, I did send you, I believe, an example of how I do my invoicing per se. At that
He
point
said he
in
did the
time,
work.
that is the documentation that was accepted. I never once received, after unfortunately I had to let go Mr. Grice or Thunder Bay, I never once received anything from them until several months several months afterwards. So at that point in time, what they submitted to me did not match the criteria of this. And on top of that, they have broken it. Yes, sir?
All right, okay.
So that's why I am requesting the court to
So-
unfortunately dismiss both cases.
He
So
may
we
have,
can
I
go
mean,
to
if it's in the
arbitration.
contract that way, that it has to go to, how did he say it?
Arbitration instead of small claims.
Arbitration.
Arbitration.
All right, well,
I mean, if-
here's the court's decision on this. This is the second, maybe more than that, but at least the second hearing. It's the second one we've done. It's possible there may have been more, but it's at least the second hearing the court has had on it. This was just brought to the court's attention today. The court does find that by not bringing it to the court's attention, it is waived. I do find that Mr. Grice or his company has done the work of 547707, that some payments have been made and that there is due to him $4,262.07 plus court costs totaling $96, and a judgment will enter in that amount. It'll be noted that the counter complaint was withdrawn, so I'm not making any decision on that one way or the other. That does conclude the court's docket. For
Well, that was.
Wow.
Wait.
So
He's
that
got a
argument-
question.
You're sending out a judgment. That's what I'm doing.
No, that's not what I wanted to ask you. I appreciate what you just did, but when he had sent to court you guys about me slandering, saying I'm going to steal,
Okay, just a
threaten.
second. I'm not, you can ask somebody else for legal advice. I can only make a decision.
Okay,
And make
okay.
a decision, $4,262.07.
Oh, he slandered you?
plus
Well,
court
here's an
costs.
extra 1,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How long does it take for him to pay?
Right now, the court is just entering a decision. You may want to talk to an attorney in that regard, or I cannot give legal.
Oh, and he cut it. Interesting. I just wanted to see the stats. It's been a day of some beautiful
It
stats.
is. I mean, that
What?
one right there. It's like,
Yeah.
he's in
done-
witness protection.
He's done some plowing. We'll say that.
That's so cute.
Great start to the week with We Got a Case. First two were fantastic. We didn't even jump around much. Had a tease that Meg was going to be on, and Judge Middleton never came back after he seemingly muted himself. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But
He got mad. He got real mad.
Interesting. Well, again, guys, if you're new here, please like this, subscribe, notifications on. We'll be back. Mini Chase Monday.
60 Creed. That's all we need to get to 8,000 over on the Creedence and Bishop Show page. And if you just want to watch court cases, we have a court case only channel. We got a case, C-A-S-E, case. So check that out. Yeah, Mini Chase Monday. It's going to be a doozy. A doozy.
405 East. We'll see you then. We'll be back here 1 o'clock tomorrow. We got a case, at least 2 hours. We went into a little overtime today.
A little bit, just a little bit. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day. If you're new here, please think about subscribing. Leave a comment. Let us know how much you hate us talking over something. And yeah, that is a Gomez Adams stash. I love it.
That's right, Jay. Keep on plowing.
Jay's going to do some plowing tonight. Until next time, please remember.
If we've ever learned anything, it is
shut up
while you're in court.
No arbitrating unless you tell.